Okay, so
Should I stay? Should I stay and keep? Look, Jason is like, get out of there.
why you violating? I mean, I do want another margarita though.
Okay, all right, and I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, see on the other side.
It's a Morgan thing right now.
Right.
Oh my God,
Right.
HU.
So I mean, we still waiting on Kim, and we're gonna have Envy coming at some point via IG or whatever like that. But I feel like we could get started with this brother to my left. This is my brother. This is my guy right here, right? Morgan, Brooklyn, all the things. He and I have had a bunch of conversations over the last few years about the work and the culture and the process and the whole thing. I'm proud of you, bro. Like I didn't. When this documentary dropped, right, and you and I had the conversation,
right.
Like I'm like, okay, the doc dropped, and then I started seeing you everywhere promoting this thing, like literally everywhere, and the feedback has been great. The content has been great. I'm just proud of you, dog. This is dope. This is dope. Yeah, this is dope. You know what I'm saying?
I always joke because technically we always went to rival schools until Morgan State.
Right.
So from elementary school, junior high school, and definitely high school.
High school, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's Marlon's from Tech.
A. Philip Randolph. Right.
Junior high school.
Satellite East.
Summit.
Right.
And so, but there's no bond like the National Treasure.
Yeah. Big talk.
I'm
Big
fortunate enough to have gotten received a lot of support from the fellow Morgan Bears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just happy the project is out.
Yeah.
Give me a buck. It was a long road.
So for us, Morgan is dope, right? Because, it's a big school, fairly big school, but our family, our tribe, right? It doesn't feel big. It feels very intimate, right? We have friends in common that are 30 years strong, right? And that support, regardless of if you and there's certain people like Sean K. I haven't seen Sean K. in the flesh in maybe 15 years.
Really?
Sean K. texts me every year, happy birthday.
Right.
Every year, happy Father's Day. Without fail, she'll hit me, right? And so that's the type of tribe that we come out of, right?
True.
Very supportive, very forward. Everybody that we know is doing their thing. Ain't nobody that's slacking, And so when you do something like this, when you stand on something like this and you are successful at putting a project out, that tribe is going to support heavily.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it. You got to come to homecoming. That's your problem.
I haven't been to homecoming since 2010.
But you just say you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it because I don't come on.
You'll see her once a year if you go to homecoming.
Yeah, I would see her at least once a year, right? Shout out to homecoming. I'm trying to come to homecoming this year. If I come to homecoming this year, it's up. It's up.
Need to be up.
It's up. It's up. This is what I want to talk to you. But first off, so you, so look, you and I have worked on little one sheets, right? You'll have me, you'll throw something at me, do one, right? Tell me about Taylor the Tape. Tell me where it comes, because it ain't come from me, else I would have got some of the paper, right? This ain't my thing. Like, you've had me right?
Yes.
But it's not, tell me where this came from. Tell me where the origin of this documentary came out of.
I mean, look, mixtape culture is an integral part of the music. It's pop culture, right? Every artist, every DJ that's worth a damn, anybody that's popping has come from the mixtape,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of what I noticed was in later years from Dipset, 50, Kendrick, Cole, ASAP, and those guys. You know what I mean? A lot of the younger generation felt like, well, this is what mixtapes are, right? This is what they are, but they're not. They come from Brucey B's, the Kid Capris, and whatnot. Right. And I felt like I had to put out something that was entertaining but also educational.
Right.
You know what I mean? First mixtape I ever wanted was a Kid Capri mixtape. You know what I'm saying? I'm in summer junior high school with me and my boys trying to figure out who's gonna sneak up to Harlem to go get it. Right? I can't go because my mom expect me home at a certain time. One of y'all gotta go. We put our money together, somebody brings it back, and we all dub it and share it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just from that alone, from forever ago, right? I think that's what started my love of music, and my love of hip hop. And so when I start working in the field, I'm at BET or MTV, whatever. producing or documenting with different artists. Again, mixtape is like kind of like the connective tissue. Everybody has their favorite or their favorite DJ or whatever. Right. And I just felt like, you know, nobody was really giving the DJs their flowers and really like telling the story of what mixtape were, how it came about, and how we showed in the film from a linear perspective how each DJ borrowed from the one previously to push hip hop forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. At one point in time when we would go see Def Comedy Jam, I was fortunate enough to actually go see it live, right? Because back then you had to like, I believe my cousin Kai had to like, he found the number in the paper,
right,
and was calling and got the tickets, right? So me and Kai and Ab, right? We go to Def Comedy Jam, indeed. And Kid Capri was just as big a star as Martin Lawrence.
Fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fact.
And so for him to like have that position within pop culture, right? It's HBO. You know what that does for DJs? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all the DJs following behind him, because at that point you stopped doing mixtapes because of other things. But you know what I mean? And so I just felt like there was too much of a story there for me not to tell it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for me, right, being in Brooklyn, we both grew up in Brooklyn.
Right.
Yo, the first mixtapes is funny, and I was telling somebody at the barbershop this today, knowing that I was going to do this podcast. The truth of the matter, Malik, is the first mixtapes I remember is like there used to be a reggae DJ called Barnabas, and the Barnabas mixtapes. Yo, Barnabas tapes in Crown Heights in the 80s.
Makes sense.
Like, if you wanted to know what rhythms was out, if you wanted to know what was on that reggae scene, that Lovers Rock scene, that dub plate scene, you needed a Barnabas tape. And so it's funny because of that perspective, because of that pivot, the fact that I grew up in a heavily Jamaican community, and Barnabas tapes was really like, same thing, I'm in junior high school, right? And we listening to Barnabas tapes, right? I remember Big Kev had a tape, the vegetable tape. So there's a vegetable rhythm. Tony Rebel, right? The song "Tell Me If You Love Vegetable," right? Yeah. So all the songs that had that rhythm, there was a mixtape for it. Right. When I tell you that shit was in high demand, bro. Right? So it mixtapes helped proliferate the music. It wasn't just a hip hop thing, though.
No, it was not.
Right?
It was not. It was definitely reggae mixtapes.
Yeah.
Craig G, who would do a lot of reggae mixtapes.
Right.
And S&S would do the hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then you had other artists, other DJs that would do more like pop stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. So
it was before the internet, before the digital era. Mixtapes was an amazing way to get the music out to the public. And at some point, and I'm sure I'm so mad I haven't seen the doc yet. Right, and we gotta talk about where the fuck I can see the doc, because ain't no reason why I'm interviewing you today, and I ain't see the doc.
I would have known. I'd have sent you the
I need to see the doc. But I'm hoping that in the doc you guys touch on. There was a point. So what I'm saying is, prior to the point, mixtapes were like a hood thing, and like you said, it was the Ron G, it was the Kid Capri. You would have to go to Coliseum Mall in Queens, or you would have to go up to 25th, and that's where you would get your mixtapes from. Right?
Some Africans downtown.
Some of the Africans, they was bootlegging, right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was bootlegging, but if you wanted the OG shit, the original shit, you had to go. And as kids, we took those trips. I went to Coliseum Mall before and was copping. You know what I'm saying? There used to be an artist. I was on somebody mixtape. Y'all know I was a rapper back in the day. I was on a Smidge Deuce. Right. You know what I mean? I was on a Smidge McBee mixtape.
I remember Smidge.
You know what I'm saying? Smidge McBee shop, right? So I remember going out to Coliseum, getting the tape, being like, oh shit, I'm hot, right? But then there was a point where mixtapes became acceptable forms of distribution of music to the labels.
Yeah,
and it hadn't always been that way.
Not at all. I think I believe drama played a big part in that as well. You know, him being down and he went to Clark, Atlanta. Drama's from Philly.
Right. Yeah, drama's from Philly. Yeah.
So it's one thing to kind of like he brought his East Coast sensibilities down to the South, and kind of like it meshed. It meshed well. You know what I'm saying? And his hustle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The DJs he looked up to was S&S and WAP.
Doo-wop.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think when from Wayne, Jeezy, T.I., and those guys got really hot, and that Gangsta Grill series kind of took the world by storm, and it was getting highlighted on like you know, Shaheem Reed created Mixtape Monday over at MTV. Like, it was just, everything just became mainstream.
Right.
And, you know, like always, the labels went in, right? They didn't even figure out a way. There's, you know,
Right.
Lenny S said that, you know, mixtape DJs were technically the A&R for the streets.
Really?
You know what I mean? They break the records. They're the ones that really break the records.
They were.
So,
Right.
So that was the only way it was gonna go. You know.
I always talk about, it's funny you bring up WAP and those cats, SNS, and you know, anytime I'm doing, even now I'm programming something for August 17th, and so guys, my partners hit me and they're like, yo, tell us some DJs you want, who you want. And my list is almost always the same. SNS, Ron G, Doo-Wop, right? Stretch Armstrong, right?
Stretch is nice.
And they get tired of me. They're like, yo, we doing a Brooklyn thing. Why are you bringing up Harlem DJs?
Right.
And you know, in the pantheon of DJing from a mixtape perspective, I mean, you know, which borough you felt was the dominant? Like, where do you feel like the best mixtapes came from?
Man, it's wild because they all brought something different to the game in regards to, like, depending on what borough you're from.
Right.
I always say when it comes to mixtape DJs, Queens is kind of like what Florida and Texas is for football, right?
Grandmaster Vic,
come
the Blend
from
tapes.
Queens, right?
Yeah.
Ike Love,
Ike Love,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, I mean, you know, you got Doo-Wop and Kid Capri that are from the Bronx,
Right.
you know what I mean? But
Right.
you got all those other guys and Clue that's from Queens,
Yeah.
and Envy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you know, S is probably the best DJ from Harlem.
Yeah, I feel that
Hands
way.
down.
Hands down.
Hands down.
I feel
You
that
know
way.
what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that way. He's
but
always
and-
in the top of my list.
And S,
I mean,
difference is-
from the west side, because from the east side, you got Ted Smooth, you got G-Bo the Pro, you got,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you got cats from the east side, but in terms of Harlem proper is
it's
SNS.
S because not only was he strong in the mixtape game, S can rock a party.
Absolutely.
Like,
we seen
with
it.
the best, still to this day.
Right.
I saw him
Right.
3 weeks ago at a party in Harlem. He didn't
Yeah.
miss a beat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but a lot of these guys, you know, Capri and all that, they're still on the road, heavy, booked 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week.
Right.
Been doing this over 30 years.
Right.
That's true testament to how great they are.
Exactly. And that also is the testament to the commerce of hip hop in our generation. Right? So we did Hip Hop 50 last year. So on Hip Hop 50, we did the 5 city block parties.
Right, I remember that.
Right? I was booking all of them. I hosted Brooklyn, I hosted Uptown. We had SNS and Ron G, right? And what we found in doing the work of Hip Hop 50 last year was that hip hop artists and DJs in our age range still pull magnificent crowds, right? They put something out today or yesterday about how Sexy Red may have to cancel her tour because she's only sold like 30% of her tickets, right?
I saw that.
And you know,
I have questions about that though.
Yeah.
I have like, when does the tour start? How much are the tickets going
Right.
for?
So right.
Who's
right.
opening? Do you change the opener? Are you putting her in your strongest markets?
Right.
All
Where
that.
is she performing?
But also, you know, a lot of time numbers be trumped up. So what you can't fake are people coming to your show.
Right.
So for all the quote unquote streams you may get, whatever, the real testament is how many people are there. And if nobody comes to see you, what does that really say about your base? Or do you have one?
Right. And that's what I think the issue is. I think what we're finding is that the newer music is more disposable, and I don't say that begrudging the artists. I say it begrudging the new systems, right? So because we can go online, right, and you could have a TikTok song, like my kids dance to the same TikTok songs, right, and those songs get millions and millions of streams, but a lot of them be meaningless songs. You don't listen to the whole song. Right?
Some of them I don't even know. Like I'll hear it on different, like somebody might use an IG story. All right, like TikTok reels.
Yeah, like you hear
then
it
I'm like,
for
wait a
10
minute, that's
seconds.
the whole song. Like the Tinashe song, Nasty Girl. I only knew it as a snippet for like a funny reel. I had no idea it was a real song with an actual video.
The song $1 Million Baby that everybody was using the last 2 weeks, I don't fucking know the song. I know the same 10 seconds that I hear in the thing, right? So it's how we consume music that's changed. Right? Not begrudging the artists, because the artists are doing what artists always do, and that is create art, right? But how we digest it is different. And so
how they're making us digest it is different. How technology influenced us digesting it is much different. people are complaining now, saying, not complaining, but they're saying like, oh, you know, Kendrick is milking the not like us. I mean, it hasn't. How long has it really been out? Because before a song can, people I can see Smooth, they reminisce of you rocked for 2 years straight. Right. Like so now if a song rocks for over a month, it's like,
he's
what are we
milking
doing?
it. The shit been out a month.
Right.
He just put a video out July 4th. How's he milking?
Right. It's crazy.
So the space, the mind space that music inhabits now is different. It's created differently. So back to what I'm saying, for our generation, because we are the last of the long form generation. You look at 50, maybe Ross, maybe even early Drake, maybe 09 Drake, is the last of the long form of how we digest music. And so when Method Man or the Wu or Nas, if they decide to ever play at a space like the Garden or Barclays, that shit sells out.
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat. There's no problem with that. And so, you know, again, not seeing the doc, but knowing that this Tale of the Tape talks about the history of mixtapes, so, and therefore it talks about the history of our DJs, in talking with them and in interviewing them, what are they, you know, in terms of their workload and in terms of how they are continued to be perceived in the industry? Like, tell me some of that feedback. What in talking to them, what's the type of things they're talking about in terms of their career?
I think that, like everybody else, right? I think they're doing what they have to do to stay relevant.
Yeah.
They're doing, you know, they've figured out ways to pivot and you know, exploit their brand.
Yeah.
You know, you have like Kid Capri. His a lot of his mixtapes now are back on Apple Music.
Right.
How, I don't know, but they're on there, right?
Right.
I mean, you got a guy, and then you got a guy like, you know, Drama, who has Generation Now, the label, and, you know, Uzi Vert and these other artists. He doesn't have to do another mixtape again if he doesn't want to. But when he does, like he did the one with Tyler the Creator, then got nominated for a Grammy, right? But then you have to say, well, is it a mixtape because it's barcoded or whatever, or streamed, and now it's part of the system, right? The beautiful thing about mixtapes before, they were never part of the system.
They were anti-system.
They were anti-system.
Yeah, they were anti-system.
Right. But being what he's been, going through what he's been through, I understand going with the system, right? Feds kicking in your door and all that bullshit,
facts.
right? You know, you got a lot of guys don't really make mixtapes no more, even though they probably could or should. They just kind of do parties or, you know, radio. You know, Envy has 1 million, you know, other streams. Clue is on the radio. He's always doing parties. You know, he's got a lot of shit when it comes to like publishing and whatnot. Yeah. But also some of the other older ones, like, you know, Brucey B. Like, again, he's still doing parties. You know, often. You know what I mean? But you know, it's like, to me, what I found in interviewing those guys, it was like, it's like a cool club, real, like when you watch, you know, the retired dudes at All-Star Weekend, they're like laughing and joking around.
Right.
Like,
The Blue
it's just,
Jackets, the Hall of Fame.
There you go, exactly. And so they all still good, they all still eating, they all still, you know, very immersed in the culture, and it's beautiful to watch, you know, after all these years.
How long it took y'all to do this?
Shit, 10 years maybe?
Yeah, see. That's the shit we on with the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the other thing, but that's the shit we on. We on a 10-year plan.
Yeah, when you, that's the thing, right? When you self-funded, it's different, right? Because, you know, I've worked on docs for networks. They're like, shit, the money comes through. This is how much they give you. This is your time frame. If you go over this time frame, there's a penalty for that. Because this is a real rollout plan, because somebody's putting up a ton of, you know, real money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with this here, it was kind of like ever evolving, right? Because I thought, like, you know, hey, I'll shoot this and I'll be done in a year and a half. Nah, I wasn't. And but, you know, again, I had gold there. I have gold. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity, RIP, to interview Combat Jack, you know, Prodigy from Mobb Deep. You know, I actually recorded their last live performance at the Blue Note with a live band, Mobb Deep together.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And just being able to, like, you know, travel and get everybody, you know.
Let me ask you something. Which way do you like better? And what I mean by that is, option A, sitting with a project for years and curating on your own dime, right? On your own time, to get it to where you can birth it and it's yours. Or option B, getting a budget, getting the bread, but also getting a deadline and having to adhere to rigid deadlines and boundaries so that you can get the project out? Which one works better?
Option B, all day. Because one, I'm very deadline oriented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Within how I've always had to work. You know, when we used to produce Rap City, we used to do 4 to 5 shows in one day. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, when we're running into the overtime or about to, so say for instance, because it's pretty much all wraparounds, right? You watch a show episode of Rap City, it's either 1 hour, it used to be an hour and a half, right? So the way we film it, you kind of toss to each video, and then you back announce it. There's a guest there for 2 out of it's a 5-block show. The guest is there for 2 of the segments or 3, and we never shoot it in order. So I was always the one, like, if we're up against the deadline and we don't want to go into overtime for whatever, well, I would go produce that show because I just understand the nuance of the stage
and the structure.
Yeah, all of that, right? And then I just make my notes, and then we're good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
thank you, Kai.
You know, I prefer option B because it would allow me to tell more stories and build a catalog. I just want to tell more stories. Right. Period. There's too many in the queue that's just kind of like sitting there and just figuring out how to like constantly fund. You know what I mean? And so I would take B all day.
See, but what I know about you and from our times together, I know that you're highly intelligent, but you are an ideator. Like you and I have sat for hours and talked about ideas, right? You're somebody who is your life allows you the opportunity to be full of ideas. Now, so when you say, well, I'm detail oriented and option B, what works for me, that is like, wow, I'm surprised by that because you're more like a painter than you are a processor, right?
I would love to be, but you know, the
reality
is,
right?
You got these kids, like,
right? Yeah, I know we got these kids,
right? That you want to do things with,
right? Take them on trips and shit,
you know,
summer camp,
all of that, and I just feel like, you know, again, there's at least 7 to 8 docs in the cut tucked away that like need to be out there and the people need to see, and I can't have them wait 10 years for it,
exactly.
Each one,
right?
And just the reality of shit is, man, people die. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
And you have to talk to them while they're here.
Alive.
And funny, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this doc. It was also just to kind of like get the history of some of these DJs and get their experience. Right. This was from I was hired a long time ago by Camille Cosby to document not well-known civil rights leaders, right? On her dime, right? I don't even remember how I got connected to the project, but I remember interviewing.
You sat with Camille?
No, we just talked over the phone.
Right.
I met James Meredith, the guy who was busted into Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Wild dude. Mm-hmm. Wild, not what you would expect at all. Right.
Right.
Like, and there was another gentleman. His name escapes me, but he was like one of the founders of one of the NAACP chapters in Mississippi, and at this time I was like a DP. Me and my camera assistant. We're just flying to Mississippi. Did MapQuest printed directions.
Back in the day, that's back in the day shit.
Bro, I remember my aunts was calling me like, well, what time are you done? Because we just want you to be in that hotel room instead of just
sundown city type shit.
Exactly, exactly. But like Camille said, this was very important for these stories to be told before these people leave this earth, right? Because what's the African proverb of when
you lose an elder, you lose a library.
Exactly. Right. And so that was part of the reason also why I wanted to talk to these people and why I want to continue to document the culture.
Tell me something about DJ Envy that we don't know.
I think everybody knows he loves Hampton the way we love Morgan.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
He does. We know that.
I recently found out he went to school, I think elementary school with Smack.
Yeah, he said it on MEO. I watched the interview where he said him and Smack had a fight.
Yeah.
And shit. That's crazy though, because I know Smack, and I shout to Smack, So
I didn't know
Nikki Duncan Smith.
I didn't know
my homegirl. We actually went to a battle rap for the first time, at the end of last year.
Right.
It's crazy. Battle rap is crazy. The
Oh,
beat at a battle rap is crazy.
Yeah, it's like boxing. It's like what's it been like boxing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I always thought Smack was younger than like Envy. I didn't realize they was like
Right.
age appropriate. So
Yeah.
that was an interesting story.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Envy, you know, he gives Clue his flower. He makes no qualms. Clue is his guy. Clue introduced him to DJing.
Yeah.
You know, if not for DJing, he was just gonna like work in finance.
Yeah, get a job.
You know what I mean? Get
Right.
a job. I'm sure he got a good job. He went to private school.
Right.
He'd be straight. Right?
He'd be
Right.
It'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing about Envy that I love, and I was hoping that he would be here so I could have this conversation with him, is that Envy really embodies that HBCU experience, and I don't think people really understand that. And what I mean by that is, when you go to a HBCU, you really from where you from. Like, so when we went to Morgan, I was a Brooklyn kid at Morgan, right?
Absolutely.
And everything that I did, how I moved, how I dressed, how I styled, who I hung with,
Right.
was representative of being a Brooklyn dude from Morgan. Envy's a Queens cat that went to Hampton. And how he moved in terms of when he was, you know, at his ascension into DJing and running around, you go to an Envy party and you feel like this is a Queens cat that went to a HBCU. And I think that like, I think a lot of people that don't go to HBCUs don't really notice that in people, but I've always noticed that in Envy. Like, yeah, this cat is a HBCU dude.
It's different. And,
Yeah.
you know, he walked it, talked it,
Yeah.
dressed it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
He always made a point to, like, he wanted to look more like an artist, not like what a DJ looked.
Right.
You know how, like you said, DJs always, you know, they got the towel, the sweaty, the oversized white tee. Like,
Right.
he was like, nah, he's jewelry, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sneakers,
Right.
cars, like.
Right, but that was also that Clue era. That's also that turn of the century era where DJs were becoming artists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They were becoming this idea of what an artist was.
They were paying attention to their brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and you got cats that like Khaled, for example, right? At this point, Khaled is like, right?
I just saw him in Bad Boys 4.
But that's what I'm saying. He's like there. But Khaled kind of, in my opinion, he leveraged that shift in DJing.
Right.
Where DJs became brands. Like, really, to me, Clue is, if I think about the turn of the century, there's two things that come to mind in terms of mixtapes and DJs. The first thing is Power of the Dollar. 50 Cent's
Yes.
mixtape.
Right.
Bro, when 50 Cent dropped Power of the Dollar, he dropped like 2 or 3 mixtapes. I don't remember the names of all of them, but I do remember Power of the Dollar. That shit was a shift in how people drop music. Like, dudes was playing, like, Power of the Dollar probably sold 1 million copies. Like, everybody was playing it.
You know, I feel like there was some type of distribution situation that they
Had to be.
It wasn't just, you know,
Had
out
to
of
be.
the trunk. It was, you know, but there was, you know, there was the market for it, right? There was
Right.
the market for stuff. Because I mean, look, that's been happening from forever ago with Motown records and Stax records, where you had a plant over there bootlegging the actual vinyl and
Right.
selling it elsewhere. Like,
Right.
it absolutely had to happen with that because the demand was there for it.
There's no way that wasn't distributed, like, clandestine or not, through a system that would have it nationwide, because it was the hottest mixtape at the time. But the other thing I think about during the turn of the century was DJ Clue, The Professional Volume 1.
Right.
That came out around the same time. The Streets is Watching documentary came out.
Well, film.
The film, whatever
Whatever you call
right?
it. Yeah.
And so
Which was hot.
it was crazy.
Everybody
at
was
the
having
time.
viewing parties at Morgan.
No, bro, and that shit was crazy at the time. That's what I'm saying. It was crazy at the time. And then Clue dropped The Professional 1. He had gangster shit with Jay-Z, Ja Rule. I think it was just Jay and Ja on that song, gangster shit.
Yeah.
But that was the first, and maybe Flex had put out something before then. I don't know. Maybe another DJ had
Around
put
that
out.
time,
Right.
Flex did
But
do
Professional Volume 1 was the first legitimization to me. Because you got to remember, so for me, Fab is from BK.
Right.
Spears was spitting on Clue tapes.
Right.
So in Brooklyn, we listening to Clue tapes now because of Fab, right? And so by the time Clue put out Professional 1, that
Or we
was like,
listening to Fab because of Clue.
right? Either or. Either or. But Professional Volume 1 was like, I was like, oh shit, this mixtape shit is like.
Nas was on there, The Flyers. That was my favorite record.
The Flyers, right.
Favorite record. One of my favorite Nas records of all time.
Right.
It's actually on that.
No, the Professional Volume 1 was fucking, it was lit.
Yeah.
It was lit. How deep do you guys get, and again, I want to see the documentary, you got to send me it, but how deep do you guys get into the economics of mixtapes?
We talk, Envy talks more about, you know, what they would get off a mixtape,
Right.
how often they would drop.
Right.
And so we let people kind of do the math. We don't want,
Right.
you know, no old, you know, situations coming up or, you know,
Right. IRS
start
knocking on
thinking
doors
like,
and
yo,
shit.
what was this? Even though I
Right.
would like to think statute of limitations is over. I would like to think that.
Not if Trump become president, getting all that back.
Yeah, but you know they talk about it. Envy talks about it a bit. He talks about it the most. You know what I mean? And the fact that, you know, 50's mixtape Power the Dollar and some other ones were actually charting on Billboard.
Yeah.
Like that's what
Yeah.
Combat Jack talks about.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, like it's never been done before.
Yeah.
Never been done.
And that was all turn of the century. That was around that, from 98 to like 03, that
Yeah.
time frame.
Right.
I remember, I used to rock with G-Bo the Pro, DJ Ray Double R, right? So I would go up to Spanish Harlem. G-Bo had the crib 108 between First and Second, right? I'm up in Spanish Harlem, you know, with these cats, and I'm young, but I'm witnessing their mixtape business.
Right.
Now the Double R mixtapes were world renowned. Like
Right.
Double R mixtapes was like hitting, but they weren't doo-wop. They weren't Kid Capri. They weren't Ron G, right? They weren't like, they were almost, I want to say niche, but
that's it. Everybody had to find their own thing because you
right.
can't.
They had their own
You
lane.
can't bite off, you know, off of those dudes.
Nah,
like
you
that.
wasn't biting back in the
You know
day.
what I'm saying?
Like
Nah,
that
you
was
can't.
forbidden.
Yeah.
But I remember going to the crib, and me and G spoke about it when he was here last year, and he had a wall full of tape decks. And I remember him like literally manufacturing the mixtape in his crib.
Right.
Like putting the tape in and then like recording on all the tape decks at one time, right?
Right.
And just doing that and just doing that and just doing that and just doing that. And so, you know, as a consumer, you don't think about this. How the fuck they get this tape to me? But I was able to be in the back of the house type shit and see how it was happening.
Right.
And Double R mixtapes was successful. I don't know what that means in reference to a Kid Capri or a Ron G. I don't know who was up, who was down, but I saw with my own eyes the success of Double R mixtapes. And so, you know, that era, in terms of distribution,
Right.
like I'm so interested in how these other cats were distributing and how they were manufacturing their joints.
Yeah, everybody kind of had their own system, right? You know, the earlier DJs from, you know, Brucey B, Kid Capri, they would like have not 10 tape decks, but 1 or 2,
And just
busting it
Manually,
manually, right?
right.
You know, Brucey B talks about, because he was at the rooftop, so if he did a party on the 1st of the month, he would record it, right? And then that week he would make a whole bunch of copies. So when he's there the next week on the 8th, he's selling tapes from the 1st, right? And he's charging however much for a tape. If he gives you a shout out on there, you might pay for that shout out.
I was gonna talk about that,
right?
Shout outs is crazy.
Right, you gotta pay for that shout out. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
whereas Kid Capri, when he would duplicate his shit, then he's selling his over at Paruka, or he posted up on 2/5 somewhere. You know what I mean? That's how he's doing his. But then you fast forward to Clue, who basically, you know, revolutionized it. The first one to have DVDs. You know what I mean? Excuse me, CDs.
Right.
First
Which
one to have
changed
CDs.
everything.
Changed up everything. And also from the perspective of like how long it takes to duplicate and your actual markup. Like
It's crazy. Right. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
You go from like, even if you were speed recording, remember the
Right.
tape decks used to do
Right.
the speed? Even if you were speed recording, it was only at like twice the speed. So if it's a 90-minute tape, it's 45 minutes.
Right.
Versus a CD, 45 seconds to a minute.
And you can
it's
have like
burnt.
the deck that you can stack, and you can get like 10 in there. You do a whole CD in like 5 minutes,
Right.
and then his joints were, he had graphic covers and
Right.
shrink
Right.
wrap,
Right.
And they were paying attention to like sending them out to places. You know what I mean? COD.
Yeah. Ingenuity and hustle. Like when this story is told, you have to talk about the ingenuity and the hustle of these young black and brown children, because that's what they are. I mean, you're 20, 21 years old. I got a 29-year-old. She's just now falling into adulthood. Like, so when you're 20, 21, you're still a child. And the ingenuity and the hustle to be able to understand the paradigm, to work the paradigm, and to get revenue from it is crazy.
And to pivot as the game changes.
Yeah, and to be able to pivot, because the game is moving at the speed of now.
Yeah, right.
We talk about it all the time in here, how from like 92 to like 2000, how fast the game was moving.
Right.
Like in 92, you could still be a broke hip hop artist. In 92, Rakim was talking about on the A train, picking at a brain, couldn't get a number, couldn't get a name. He's on the A train trying to holler at a chick.
Right.
By 2000, that shit ain't popping. You gotta wear platinum, you gotta drink Belvedere or Cristal. In 8 years, the game shifted so fast that anybody who was able to survive that shift, you gotta give them credit for being able to pivot in that shit.
When did the income shaming start?
Income shaming.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Broke ass niggas. when did broke ass niggas become a thing in hip hop? Scrubs? Nah, before Scrubs. Before Scrubs.
At 30, give a nigga the chills.
For being broken 30, give a nigga the chills. Yeah, around that time, like 95, 96. Because before that, these cats was talking about.
So I mean, that was that Bad Boy Rockefeller that did that?
Yeah, well, it was consumerism hip hop. I can't blame Bad Boy and Rockefeller. What I'm gonna say is, the moment that corporate America latched on to hip hop, really, if you want to blame something, you should blame my Adidas. Like, because
that was so early. That was 80s, right?
I know it was like 86, but what I'm saying is when corporate America found their way into the culture, and when they realized that if you say polo on your song and we put you in polo in your video, I'ma sell 2 million of those polo shirts.
Right.
That's what changed the game. It was systems.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, these cats, when you are talented, right? When you're a talented artist, you can do art in multiple different ways.
Right.
So it was the corporate America scheme that had Biggie talking about, I put hoes in NY onto DKNY, right? Atlanta, DC, prefer Versace. He's speaking to the lifestyle of the culture.
Right.
And the lifestyle of the culture is predicated by the corporate entities that decided to stick their foot in the culture.
But people always wanted to floss. Like, people always wanted to floss. And I feel like as the game changed and more people that wanted to floss got put on, then their lifestyle came to light. And
I think that's true.
people just wanted to emulate.
I don't disagree with that, but I think flossing was a different tone. People always want aspirational things.
Right.
So you always want the Benz, you always want the Gucci loafers, you always want the aspirational pieces.
There's plenty of hip hop artists that just want to be the best at being an artist, that want to be the most lyrical. You know what I mean?
And they're the ones that got pushed out through corporate entities. Like you talk about Smith & Wesson or Buckshot.
I was gonna say,
You know
right?
what I'm
Because
saying? You talk about most.
You have, because for Big and Buckshot to basically live blocks apart,
Right.
But rap
Right.
about two totally different worlds,
Right.
as if they never.
Right, like if they don't
intertwined.
live in the
It's crazy.
same fucking world.
Right,
You live in
right,
the same
right.
world.
We would see them in the same places.
Right, you live in the
Right.
same world, but you're
Right.
rapping about things that are so divergent.
There you go.
Somebody needs to do a documentary on that. I'll write your one sheet. I got you, kid. I'll write a one sheet on that. Because we got to talk about the economics of hip hop and how those economics and those corporate entities kind of shifted how this thing was. Because I'll tell you something, we went to the Spike Lee block party. I went to Spike Lee block party. Kyle went there. Jay, was you there? The one with Quincy and
I was
out there?
We got around there.
Yeah. So I went there, right? It rained. I got out there before it rained. 30 years, 35 years, do the right thing, right?
That's what that one was.
35 years,
Okay.
do the right thing, right?
Right.
Now, if anything is said about Spike Lee to me is one of the main causes of gentrification in Brooklyn. Because how he depicted Brooklyn and the way in which it was mass produced nationwide, globally, he made Brooklyn looked like a destination for anyone who had any level of cool in them.
I don't think you can blame him.
I'm not blaming him, but I'm saying if you talk
being
about
from Brooklyn, we always felt like it was the coolest place in the world.
well, it was.
Right?
It
Like,
is.
Right.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is. But it was packaged to the world through things like Spike. So what I'm saying is Biggie, going back to the hip hop piece, Biggie, Buckshot, like in that 90s hip hop, you had a bunch of levels of Brooklyn hip hop because you had like Smooth and Trigger, you had J. Rue the Damager, you had Blase, but Biggie and Boot Camp Click were like the two main pieces of what spoke to Brooklyn.
Right.
I remember being at Morgan and Bucktown coming on and niggas going crazy.
Crazy. You're right. Absolutely.
Niggas going crazy.
Yeah.
But then Biggie and Bad Boy had it going crazy in a different way.
Right.
But
Right?
you leaving out Jay and Jay's.
Nah, this before Jay.
Well, when you talking about 90s, you talking about mid 90s, late 90s. Now you talking about Jay. You talking about him reading the Rob Report. Him talking about Cristal. Him talking about things that we had no idea what they were until we actually went to look for them. And when we talk about that consumerism, now you're like, all right, as a Brooklyn drug dealer, this is what I'm aspiring to.
I think Jay set himself in consumerism. I don't think he was the shift. I think the shift came like party and bullshit. Right? Remember when that? Yo, was you at Howard Homecoming? You was there, Kyle, when Howard Homecoming was in the post office.
I was there.
You was there, right?
I helped S&S bring in his records.
So you were there. Method Man had this shit on, came around, right? You was there for.
Big was a surprise guest.
Big was a surprise
he
guest.
Was not on the bill.
Exactly.
He came out to the what?
He came out to the what?
Right. They lost
right?
their mind. That was.
And so that to me is what I think about when I think about the shift. And that's what I'm saying. Respectfully, that was before Jay came out with Reasonable Doubt. This thing was taking hold with Biggie. Biggie was the one that changed how Brooklyn hip hop was because he was cool as shit. His rhymes was crazy, but he always gave you that look, that lifestyle shit.
I'm Ashy the Classy, right?
Ashy the Classy.
That was aspirational for him.
Right.
He was
Ashy
wearing
the
Versace.
Classy.
Everybody wearing Versace glasses, shirts, you know, Gators.
Yeah. Right. Nobody was
Everybody's
fucking with
around looking like a
Coogee
Detroit
and shit.
pimp.
Right. Nobody. Right. Exactly. Looking like a fucking
All of us
Detroit
looking like
pimp.
Detroit pimps because Big said it was cool.
I want to ask you some questions. What was the? You have a very long list of projects that you worked on. You kind of the guy in this space. I mean, you my man. I fuck with you, but you kind of like the guy in this space, bro. In a way, and what I'm saying by that is you've been consistently putting out work. That's all I'm saying.
You know, me and a friend of mine from Brooklyn, Theron T. Smith, he helped me. He taught me how to operate a camera. You know what I mean? Which was one of the most important things to me because that's how I started.
Right.
And we always talk about how we worked on the greatest of shows, right? We worked on Rap City. We worked on the Chappelle Show.
That's crazy.
Worked on Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah.
We worked on 106. We had our
been at all the iconic
to touch the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And not a lot of people can say that. It's probably maybe 5 or something like that.
Right.
But I think when you do that and you work in those spaces, it kind of sets you up for whatever it is that you want to do, you know, kind of going from there. And so I learned at a certain point to never be afraid. Always be willing. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable, that means you're scared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so me, at whatever time, jump into another company to do something, you know, just whatever.
What's your favorite project you ever worked on? Is it this project?
This is probably
Give me your top 3, because it's hard to pick a one. So give me your top
This is the most rewarding, but what a lot of people don't understand, like, I've been doing this a long time, right? So I thought that I've been doing this a long time. And Red Summer TV, it first started with my best friend in the world and co-founder, Kai Crawford, right? Fly Kai was the director, I was the executive producer. So we did Akon and Styles P Locked Up. We did Young Jock, I Know You See It.
Y'all directed Locked Up?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
Attica was in that video.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. We did Jason Derulo in My Head. Bunch of videos, right? But at the time, you know, I was working in television and just doing that as like trying to, you know, just figuring things out and hustling. You know what I mean? But then once I got back into the TV space, like immersed in it. You know, I know I just didn't want to do music videos like that. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to still do music videos like that. But top 3 projects, shit. Taylor Tape is absolutely one of them, right? Because to me, it felt like going to grad school. Like all those fucking years, you're like, am I going to finish? Right? And then you finish. Like to finally be finished, to finally have a release date, to finally be able to go and click, stream it, and people to have it out in the world is a big thing. Right. So another one would probably be, I had the opportunity to do like a docu short with Al Green.
Whoa.
It was the 50th anniversary of his 2 albums that he dropped in 1 year. Love and Happiness, I can't remember the other
And the joint with the white album cover, yes.
Yeah, and so I go to Memphis to interview him, and it's wild because, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, as a company, we produce for different platforms, and we try to like lock in on the time frame and give everybody the attention they deserve. And so, you know, this was for BMI because he's a BMI writer, talent, whatever. And you know, I jumped at the chance to do it. Shout out to my homegirl Lindsay who provided that opportunity. And so I'm like, I want to talk to him because I want to like kind of prep him and just see where his head is at. And I'm like, you know, well, could somebody put me in touch with, you know, his people? Like, I ain't got no people. You gotta call him.
You gotta call him.
Right. And he'll call you when he's ready. Like, just call him, leave a message, and then he'll call you back when he's ready. And so we're supposed to film a week prior. I go to Memphis just to see where we're gonna film this at. And I go to this church. Right. Go to this church. I just literally,
That's crazy. He got a church.
He has a church. He has a church. You know what I'm saying? So me and Lindsay go to the church just to like, you know, I just want to catch a vibe. And we get there too early, right? Because there's like Bible study and then church. So we don't know. I don't know church. I'm like, they look at us like, oh, you want to go to the regular service? Come back in 3 hours.
Right.
We go back in 3 hours, and he goes up there. I'm like, shit, that's Al Green.
That's crazy.
And he's giving his sermon.
How many years ago was this?
2 to 3.
Okay, so post-pandemic.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's up there giving his sermon.
Yeah, giving his sermon, and he's, and then he sings some, and choir sings with him.
Right. And
it's just like it's magical, bro.
Right.
Like it's like this is Al Green. This is
right.
He, like yo, I can't even put this into words.
Right.
And so the next week I go back. And we interview him inside the studio where he recorded these albums. Like same studio, same microphone is there.
That's
you know what I mean?
Crazy.
We had 3 of the producers. I interviewed them first that worked on the album. And like at the start of Love and Happiness, when it's like they brought out the wood
that they
stepped on, and they really just used that to count them in.
Right.
And they just kept it for the record.
Kept it for the record.
Right. You know
like a
mean?
metronome almost.
Yes.
Right.
Yo, bro. So Alex shows up, and then so I'm like, I'm trying to do some. When he pulls up, let's make sure we're slow mo. We catch him coming out the car. And I'm talking to the dude that runs the studio. I'm like, well, what car is he gonna? I need to know because he's not calling us. He's just saying he's coming.
Right.
And he's late. And I'm like, well, what kind of car is it? I don't know. He got 3 Rolls Royces. It could be any color. Right.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So he pulls up. He gets out the car. Definitely not camera ready. Right. Shirt, whatever, tie, whatever.
Right. Looking wild.
Hair, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, Reverend Green needs someone to help him tie his tie. You know how to tie a tie? I'm like, yeah, I'll go in the back. You know what I'm saying? So I help him out.
So you help him tie his tie. This is
help him tie his tie. Right? He's so, hey, young man, how you doing? Hey, where you from? They notice, your accent. Where you from? They ain't from here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, New York. I got some New York stories.
Right. I bet he does.
Yeah, I bet he does. You know what I'm saying? So
I bet he does.
Pick his hair out, and then he comes out. And we just talk. We just talk music. And the wild thing, he's an older dude, and something like a lot of the things that we kind of like glamorize, or we just kind of like, oh, this is the greatest. It's a regular day for him, man. Like that song, what was you doing? I just went by the lake and just wrote.
Right.
Just chilling.
Right.
Had some wine.
Right.
Sit.
Right.
Right.
And that's the shit.
Yeah.
Like as big as we make the thing,
yeah,
it could really be so small to
him. Yeah, absolutely. So that would be number 2, Al Green. And so the third, last year and the year prior, we did the Essence live stream that streamed to Hulu.
Right.
I like. First year we had Angela Yee. She hosted all 3 days, and then the second year we had different hosts each day. But putting together a live stream of that capacity for 5 hours, 3 nights straight, a lot of prep work, a staff of 80 to 90 people making this happen is no small feat. And to me, and for us to go off without a hitch, no, oh, what happened to the picture? Oh, we can't hear the sound. Oh, like
everything.
Hulu can't be bullshit.
Right.
So for us to be able to accomplish that,
that's a major feat.
Was like, was dope.
And I don't think a motherfucker understand that, because when we sitting in the consumer seat, we just see the TV and you go get a close up, then you get a stadium shot, then, and we're just like ingesting it. We don't realize the work that goes into it.
There's 4 cameras on the stage just for us with the host. Then there's another 9 for the performers.
Right.
And then there's, the logistics of like how they move and what stage they go to.
Who's the conductor in all of that? And what I'm saying by that is you got 15, 18 cameras. Who's the motherfucker that says, okay, go to that one. Okay, go there.
Right.
Who does that work? Or is that that can't be post-production because a lot of it's live.
Live, yeah.
Right.
So there's several directors. There's one for main stage, and then there's one for the live stream show.
Right.
And we talk to each other, and we're in 2 separate spaces. Like they have different control rooms. One time we had a production truck that's outside that's wired into the building. So, and then there's like, the EP of the show, Stephanie Donovan. She's like the main one that kind of makes this happen, because that was her brainchild, right? She was one of the executive producers for 106 & Park. She understands live television, and we kind of worked together at certain points in our career, and so it just made sense that when she wanted to do this, she gave us a call, and we worked to make it happen. So yeah, to me that's because to me it's just different. I've had the opportunity to interview, sitting with a bunch of people and help launch different shows or work on different pilots or whatnot, but all of these are really more satisfying because it's Red Summer. That's
it's
the thing.
your thing.
It's my thing.
Right.
I had an opportunity years ago. I helped with Run's House, the original Run's House, not what came on television. Like it was based on Run trying to be a relevant rapper again. Right. So we filmed with him for X amount of time, and it just didn't work. Like looking at the footage, it didn't work. And then somebody was like, "Wait a minute." They just paid more attention to how he interacted with the family. And they was like, you know what, that's the angle.
That's the thing.
That is the angle.
Right.
And so I say that to say a lot of times when it comes to projects and like how we sit and ideate, it might not be the first thing, it might not be the second thing.
Right.
Eventually you'll get there. There's a great idea in almost everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask this question, but I want to ask y'all too. And I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to answer this question. So I'm going to ask you your favorite DJs from each borough, but I'm going to truncate it, right? Because first off, respectfully, fuck Staten Island, right? I'm talking about...
You sound like Deja Vu.
Yeah, respectfully, like, we don't care about Staten Island. We care about Queens.
Yes.
We care about Brooklyn. And then we care about Uptown. And I'm calling Uptown Harlem and the Bronx. So you're 3. So give me your favorite Queens DJ, your favorite Brooklyn DJ, and your favorite Uptown DJ. And I can go first. I'm going to go first.
You can go first because I don't even know.
I'm going to go first. So for Brooklyn, y'all already know who my favorite Brooklyn DJ is. That's Mr. C.
Mr. C.
All day, every day. Rest in peace, Mr. C. Queens, I'm going to have to go with Grandmaster Vic. Because the blends it hit me in such a way. Like, his blend tapes was like, that shit is everybody has a coming of age soundtrack. Like when you were 17, 18, 19 and what was playing. Right. Grandmaster Vic is in my coming of age soundtrack. So C in Brooklyn, Vic in Queens, and motherfucking SNS, Uptown. And SNS, like, I'm biased because I got a chance to work with SNS on stage. And the nigga was like dissing me. He was dissing my outfit and shit. But it was so, like, we had such a good back and forth.
That sound like S.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we had such a good back and forth. and the crowd loved him. But Ted Smooth is a close second.
I was just hearing.
Because Ted is my guy, right? And Ted, if I had to break Harlem up into East Side, West Side, Ted is the king of the East Side for me, right?
Don't test move.
A style request and no love for Shaolin.
Probably, yeah, I know they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
That's right.
They do. Yeah, Kimio got beef with him. But it's SNS. Ted Smooth is like close second, but SNS. Now for you.
Queens, I'm gonna go with DJ Clue.
Okay, that's valid.
You know, when it comes to Brooklyn DJs and mixtape DJs, I mean, we're kind of light there.
Yeah, we don't
You know
really
what I'm saying?
have
We don't really
mixtape
have
DJs.
mixtape
Yeah,
DJs,
we don't.
right?
Yeah.
So you got Mr. C. Was Easy Mo be a DJ first?
Easy Mo B was a DJ first.
You know what I mean? And his catalog to me is so amazing.
And Easy Mo B used to make mixtapes back.
Yeah, his catalog is so amazing, like so amazing.
Yeah.
I have to I gotta show love to him.
Yeah, okay.
right.
That's
And
fair.
I feel like he used to go to Cliff.
That's fair.
Right?
He
I
did
feel
used to go to
like-
Cliff.
yeah, so I used to see him,
Cliff.
right? I used
Because
to-
he used to live on
Cliff is
Clifton.
the
He used to live
barber.
on Clinton, the same building as
Brooklyn's
Abel.
barber.
Right.
Right.
He did used to go to Cliff.
So
Shout
I'm
out
gonna
to
go
Cliff.
Easy Mo B from Brooklyn.
Okay. And now
And so I
Where's
can't.
Clark Kent from?
Clark Kent is from Brooklyn.
That's from Brooklyn.
You're right. You're
That's
right.
gonna be a choice.
Yes.
It's exploring your real ass.
And who else? What's his name? What's the other dude from Brooklyn? Scratch.
DJ Scratch. Albany Project.
Right. Yeah. I didn't even know that
Oh,
until
right.
So I can't put Harlem and the Bronx together.
All right, so separate them.
So
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna do S for Harlem.
And who for Bronx?
Doo-wop.
Yeah, I fuck
And
with
do I say doo-wop is because
I fuck with
doo-wop fucking spit dog.
Yeah.
Dude can rap.
Yeah. He had a little
And the
crew. What was the
Bounce
nigga
Squad, the
name?
Bounce Squad.
His sister went to Morgan, Roxanne. What's Roxanne brother name? He was Snagglepuss.
Okay.
Snagglepuss.
Yeah. And Unique, who was the female artist of the crew. That
Yeah.
predates Kim,
Yeah.
Foxy.
Yeah, nah,
all
you're
of them.
right. I
Unique
feel
was
you.
nice. She could
Yeah, Bounce
spit.
Squad was crazy.
Bounce Squad was crazy.
Maestro Manny, they had a little squad.
Yeah, so those are my four.
Okay. Kai.
Where's Goldie from?
Goldie's from Gowanus in Brooklyn.
Okay, so it's a tie between Goldie and Mr. C,
Okay.
and then Ted Smooth, Uptown.
Uptown. Okay. Do you want to do a Bronx or respectfully it's
No,
Uptown?
I just Uptown.
And then Queens.
No.
You can't do that to Queens. Don't do that to Queens.
Who did you say?
I said Grandmaster Vic.
Okay, no.
In fact, I want to
Vic's
get
nice.
some Grandmaster Vic tapes now. I want to download some shit from him.
I think
I
I might
know, no,
have
there
one.
is somebody from Queens. I just have to think on it.
Okay, Jay.
All right, so Queens, I'm going with Clue.
Uh
Bronx, I'm going with Doo-Wop.
huh.
SNS Uptown. And Brooklyn, it's going to be either, it's a tie between Clark and Scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why them? Why Clark and
Why?
Scratch?
Because I've listened to Clark mix forever. I've run to Clark's mix. I've told him, I've run to you.
Right.
He has a mix on Apple
Clark is
Radio.
Clark is
I've run
probably
to-
one of the most intelligent DJs
Yeah.
that exists.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
the
amazing.
motherfucker's a genius.
Yeah, his playlist and the way his mixes are so, they're very thematic. He goes and he plays the music. And in Scratch, just growing up listening to Scratch, right? And just hearing him what he does. Same thing, like he's on the turntables. Like when you listen, when you're literally like, yo, a DJ. When we grew up, a DJ scratching, a DJ cutting, mixing. Those were the things you basically rated a DJ on, and he was that guy. And so I've heard his Scratch TV show or Scratch television, Scratchville, whatever. He kills it too.
I'm gonna tell you something about Scratch. So in 2014, when I was a GM of
Oh, wait,
Middleborough,
I'm sorry. Instead of SNS from Harlem, Red Alert.
Okay. Shout to Red. Red DJ'd our
Red,
block party
yeah,
last year.
Red did
Red
his
killed the block
thing,
party
yeah,
last
at
year.
the block
We had a
party.
bunch of Harlem DJs last year because we had Red and we had G-Bo the Pro
Right.
last year.
Red is
So
dope.
yeah, shout to
I
Red.
met Red Alert several times, but I interviewed him last year. I was working on this doc called In Our DNA, Hip House. which is like, you know, hip hop and house music, and it's conversions. And we interviewed Red Alert. And this guy, man, some of these people, like, you know, when they say like he's forgotten more hip hop than you'll ever know.
Absolutely.
And Red Alert is one of those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to ask you this before we go to what? What you about to
Mike
say?
Hands is asking for Brooklyn, who dominated in Beat Street.
In Beat Street, well, that was Goldie. Beat Street was all Goldfinger.
Really?
Goldfinger used to work at Beat Street.
Downtown Brooklyn.
Downtown Brooklyn. Yeah, that was all Goldie, Mike.
That's Goldie.
Shout out to Mike Hands. That's my guy, man. We about to get together and do something
Scratch
crazy.
Vision.
Yeah, that's my guy. But what I was saying is, so in 2014, I was a GM of Milk River, and DJ Scratch wanted to do like an intimate thing. So right now, DJ Spinner has something that I go to on Thursdays, and Spinner's an amazing DJ, and he would be like number 2 or 3 on my Brooklyn list, right?
He was an EP on the doc.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw that. Yes.
He was. Yeah.
Right. Spinner is up there. I just have a soft spot for C because of he and I's personal relationship, but Spinner's up there. But what Spinner does now, Scratch was doing in 2014, like an intimate Thursday night, like low key, not really promoting, but let's just have the lovers of the culture come out.
Right.
And I really was impressed by Scratch in that moment. Like Scratch, like not the scratching, not the cutting, but again, to me, DJs, like the best DJs to me are the DJs with the highest IQ sonically. Like they're gonna play some shit that you've never heard before and you love the moment that you hear it.
That's Questlove.
Yeah,
Quest is like
from the
that.
5 boroughs. You're right.
I know,
Quest is
but
like
Question
that.
is,
Yeah.
and Clark is like that a lot. I always call Clark Kent the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Yeah.
Because he has a moment in time with every artist,
With every artist,
in
yeah.
every situation.
They came across Clark Kent.
Somehow, some way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you could do that for me, if I'm at a joint and you play a song that I never heard before and I love, it's like, wow, B, that shit is crazy. And Scratch used to do that shit at 2.
Shout out to DJ Self too, because he's
Self is,
from-
yeah, Self is.
Yeah, he used to come through Morgan. That's where he
Self is a
learned
good
to
dude.
really like
Yeah, Self is.
get his like DJ shit together.
Yeah,
He said he used to
yeah.
DJ the younger cats though. My little bros, the Rated R parties. He would do those.
Rated R. I remember Rated R.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
Rated
was
R.
cool with them and would come down there.
Yeah, I remember Rated R. You tell me about your Morgan experience before we go.
You know, it's funny because Morgan was the second school I went to.
I know you
right?
went to Grambling
I went
first.
to Grambling first.
Right, you went to Grambling first.
Honestly, I wanted to be a Morehouse man. Right?
Mm.
That was the influence of the Cosby shows. Cosby Show and Different World. I wanted to be a Morehouse man.
Right.
And they took too long to send my paperwork.
Right.
And Grambling sent a full ride.
Right.
My mother said, well, I guess that's where we going. But I was not emotionally mature enough, a kid from Brooklyn, to be in deep south of Louisiana. And Grambling is not like, Grambling and is in Louisiana. It ain't New Orleans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
it's
it's
a
in the
small
sticks.
town of Grambling.
Right. It's in Grambling.
It's in Grambling, Louisiana.
Right.
And so my bros, Chaos, Fats, they were at Morgan,
Right.
and I would call them.
Right.
We would literally write physical letters.
Back in the day.
Right.
Right. Real talk. Right.
But they was like, yo, bro, I know you not enjoying it down here. This
You
way
need to come up
this
here
is
because
where
we
you need to be."
wildin'.
Yeah.
It's all the way up. Up here. It's all the
You
way
know what
up.
I'm saying? And
It's all
so
the way up.
I had told my mom, I was like, yo, when I come home for the semester, which would have been in December, because she was leaving me up there for Thanksgiving, right? I was just going to fucking leave me out. There's
Right.
nowhere to go.
You're right.
She was like, well, I guess you're going to figure it out because I'm not sending you a
I'm
plane
not
ticket.
sending you home. Yeah.
My aunt sent me a ticket, mailed some shit to me.
Right.
Went to my lockbox and got it. But anyway, I came home for Thanksgiving. I brought home as much as I could bring, and I sent my application in the morning. And so when I got back for the Christmas break, I knew I wasn't going back to Grambling. And my mother was like, well, you going somewhere? And so I kept calling Morgan. You know, back then, they don't fucking answer, whatever. Then one day they finally answered. It was a Wednesday. And he said, oh yeah, you got accepted. Friday's the last day to register. It's a Wednesday though. I got on the Peter Pan bus the next morning.
That was out.
Ain't
look back.
It ain't look back.
Ain't look back.
And I never lived in the dorm, which I deeply regret.
Right.
Right? Because my Chaos and Fats was at
Cummins.
No, they would live. They had just got an apartment in Kensington Gate.
Oh, but
And it
they
was like-
they lived on campus.
They did. They lived.
They didn't live in
OC.
O'Connell. They lived in O'Connell. I
Yeah.
lived in O'Connell
Yeah.
freshman year. Oh, they a year under me though.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. I know Chaos lived there. I'm not sure where Fat stayed, but they were like, bro, take the living room, set up a partition,
Right.
whatever. Help us with this rent.
Right. Basically. Because that shit's
Um,
$600 a month. We need you
Bro,
200.
Yes. But I was like, yo, I don't have a door, so I'm gonna have to pay less. Right? I mean, I had to negotiate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, it felt like I didn't skip a beat. And you know, there was a lot of students at Morgan that went to campus with me from my year.
Morgan was full of campus and tech nights.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And so my year ahead of me,
Right.
2 years ahead of me, I
Right.
knew at least 50 people when I got there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think I probably knew too many people because it didn't last long.
Dog.
But
Me neither.
Man, I just felt, I always say like, when you grow up in the hood, like there's certain like how you have like your spidey senses that tell you what's good and what ain't, right? Being there was the first time I was able to put that down, right, and just live and just be, right? And I think that's why I wasn't as focused as I needed to be on the work, because for the first time in my life, I felt safe. You know what I mean? And when you feel safe, you just do whatever. Right? You ain't thinking about shit. You just live it. You know what I mean? I wasn't worrying about how this person perceived me. I wasn't worrying about getting robbed or shot from there or whatever. It was just and I'm home.
You're home.
That was our Mecca. Right? Like
Yeah.
coach talk about Howard and being on the campus, and that's his Mecca. This was our Mecca. You know what I mean? And so that's why I make it a point every year to go. And also because, as you get older, man, some people you might not see again.
Might not see him.
The unfortunate reality of life. So
I feel you on that. For me, Morgan was like, I had always, and I've said this on the show numerous times. As a kid, Malik, I just wanted to be in the culture. Like I just wanted to be where it was. Wherever it was, I wanted to be where it was. Right. And I would gravitate to where it was. So then I go to Morgan, and I'm at where it is. And like the only thing I could liken it to is like, you ever like lick a battery when you was a kid and feel the electricity from the battery? Like that's what Morgan was to me. Like I got a taste of the electricity, and then everything was just about the moment. And school took not even a backseat. School was in the trunk of the car. School was in the trailer, the car was pulling the trailer.
I just left it on the side of the road.
It was because everything at Morgan was about the moment, and we was rhyming, and we was cool, and we knew everybody, and everything was new. And then we went to an HBCU where Nas would come down and perform. Man versus Man was like, we were in the fucking storm of culture. And that's all that mattered to me. I was young. I went down to Morgan at 17 years old. Right? So I was young.
That's how when I went to Grambling, I was 17.
I was 17.
Turning 18.
Yeah, I didn't turn 18 till the end of my freshman year. And so I'm fucking with dudes. Now, like, in hindsight, I see dudes turning 53, 50. I'm like, damn, you was 5 years old. Like, you was old, nigga. Like, I didn't know that then. But in the moment, it was just about the moment. And it became so, like, it was so visceral. My Morgan experience was so visceral, right? Like, I left with a child, right? And I was like, everything, like, it was such a visceral moment for me that I can never forget it. Morgan is always, and the friendships and the bonds are lifelong, right?
Those.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, my kids go to PS11 and Chris is their guidance counselor. Like, you can't ask for a better situation.
At all.
But I wish, if I had it to do all over again, I would have played it much more mature and not have been drowned in moments, because that's what it was for me. Like, I was just outside.
I mean, it was outside, and the crazy thing is, I remember my boy Billy, who I went to campus with. He just went down to Morgan just for the parties, just to hang out with Chaos and whatnot, because we all went to high school together. And there was a party with Lords of Underground, whatever, from Homecoming.
Yeah, we was on all
And
that.
it was like, so Chaos tells me, he said, yo, bro, there's TTC dudes here. they, you know, talking about getting down. Yo, you're perfect for this.
Right.
Like
Perfect.
you're right. Whatever that means.
Right.
Right. And then I get there and I meet them. I go to like, you know, interest meeting at my bro Mike Cassidy house. Yeah. The mansion.
Yeah, the mansion.
And we just vibe. Energy was there, and it was just like it just all made sense. You know what I mean? And then, you know, being on campus and that's again a lot of my experiences through the lens of being TTC. Right? I didn't have an opportunity to like, because as soon as I get there, it's like, oh, well, it's Malik from TTC. It wasn't like I didn't have a chance to foster a lot of other relationships. If I'd have lived in the dorm, or, you know, you go to like the freshman orientation in the summer, but it's all good, you know what I mean? But again, like doing the parties, doing the shows, opening stores and whatnot. Like we had 2 stores. We had one on Hartford Road, one on York Road. Like everybody under 22, 23 years old.
Right.
Like
everybody kids.
Technically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, everybody kids.
You know what I mean? And so it just made sense that I was going to have a lot of growing pains. You know what I mean?
Kyle, what up?
Mike Hands missed the beginning, and he wants to know who's being interviewed. He said this is a great interview. He did say this is a great interview, but he missed the beginning, so he wants to be
Tell him who you are. Tell him who you are. Tell him who you are.
My name is Malik Buie. I'm executive producer and director for Taylor the Tape, How the Mixtape Revolutionized Hip Hop.
Right.
You can check it out on Amazon Prime. It is on Verizon Fios.
Oh, it's on Prime.
Spectrum. Yeah, it's on Prime.
Oh, I'm watching that shit tonight. I didn't know that.
And on the 19th, we're making an announcement. It's going to a few more platforms. Like
dope.
Yeah.
Kim Osorio joined. I think she's still here. She is stuck in traffic.
Tell her to jump on the live.
I should say.
Yeah, have her jump on very quick.
Let me see.
Because we about to be done. It's almost 9 o'clock now.
I know.
But I love
We're going to chop this up. We're going to chop it
Yeah.
up into other segments.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's all good.
Absolutely. YouTube,
You know,
be here.
and go to tailorthetapefilm.com. It has links to everywhere you can like watch it, and I'll have y'all put up the handles.
Perfect. I wanna, and I'm gonna talk to you on camera about. I wanna do a little something else, to kind of capture some of this stuff. And shout to Envy, man. I know Envy's busy, so
Envy,
you know what I mean.
pinning that dude down is.
Yeah, he's a real live superstar.
Oh
So
no,
he's a real live
absolutely,
star,
absolutely. I think what's up with doing the screening at Restoration outside? What's
Whatever.
that
I
take?
just did it.
I saw that and I was like, because I heard about the
we just
Mickens
did
story,
Frank
right?
Mickens. Yeah, we just did the Mickens story.
Yeah.
That's a. I mean,
I
we
wonder,
can do
like,
it. That's
you
no
know,
problem. We
yeah.
just need to talk. Man.
Okay.
And we should do it this summer.
Yeah, I would.
We
I
should
would
get
love
it
to
popping
just
this
do
summer
it.
and
I
do
would
like
love
a talk back.
Yes.
Just like we did with the Mickens thing. Do
Yeah.
a talk back and do the screen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All right. So look, before we go, we, the hosts and staff of the pod, have a sneak awards that we be doing, right? The
I won.
guests.
I already won.
No, no one said you won. You said you won.
That's Howard mentality.
Right, exactly. That's
is
how
Howard
mentality.
mentality.
Absolutely. So the guest has to choose which host or staff has the flyest kicks, right? So let me just give you some
need to
insight.
come up.
He's tried to
Let me
get
give
these
you-
voted like 3-4 times. Like,
Yo, I've only worn these twice.
you know what I'm saying? Okay, he's trying to get them voted twice.
In a year and a half.
I never wore these. She never wore these. So that, you know what I mean?
So you trying
So
to
wait,
scam
put it
my
up here.
joint?
Put it up
Look at how
here.
my joint
trying to
goes.
scam
Why you gotta be
It's
functional?
like
Why you
that.
trying to show the function?
You see
It's
the
a sneaker.
functionality
You
of
trying
it?
to discount my joints. for
I
these
can't
flyers.
lift
Look
my
at that
leg out
colorway,
while
son.
I'm
You don't
skirt.
even see that color.
I
Come
like
on.
those. I'm not gonna lie.
Look at how
Okay, you don't
it
have to show me how.
Look
about
at
to
how
hoop
it
straps
goes.
You about to
See
hoop?
that? And see that?
You about to hoop, Kyle? That's what you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
So who won, Malik? Because this is serious for us.
Let's be honest.
I gotta go with my man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, you can't wear
That
those shits no
that
more.
colorway is fire, and I love dunks. I love
In the
dunks.
matching shirt.
Okay, you already won. You ain't even got to go further. But you can't wear them shits no more. Them
always
shits is
winning.
done.
It's
Yo,
all good.
this was amazing,
Whatever.
bro.
Oh
I
my
appreciate
God!
you.
Nah,
You know
thank
that.
you, man.
You know that, man. You know
Thanks
that.
for
Hopefully-
joining. We'll see y'all on Saturday.
You coming to the block party?
This Saturday.
Nigga, 10,000 people.
Really?
Okay. We're back.
All right, we're back. And the reason why we came on back on the live is because the queen, our sister Kim Osorio, popped out. What's up? You here?
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm a
need
little
to be
late.
Sorry. No, it's New York City. We
Yeah,
understand.
it's also Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So
We get
me
it.
coming to Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
See, I bought my shirt.
Yeah, you killed it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me coming to Brooklyn is like far. I used to live
Right.
out here. I told you about
Yes,
that
I
before.
know. We lived in the same neighborhood.
That's right.
And never once
Really?
did we cross paths. No.
Where
I mean,
you
we
at?
probably.
Was you outside then? What you
I was
doing?
outside. Of course, I was outside.
Oh.
Malik.
I'm just saying.
I live right on Green and St. James. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, right, because I
Right.
was on St. Jane. I was on Gates.
Gates and
Yes.
St. James.
So I was in a different crowd, though. You seem like you were
we
in
were
the
same
very
crowd.
nice HBCU crowd, right?
No, I
That's
was
what-
in that crowd. That was from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know Hawk? See, you wasn't in that
think
crowd.
so.
You know Nino?
I think so. No,
See?
I wasn't in that crowd.
See?
I was in a very industry crowd.
See, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
my crowd is from the Bronx, and
Right.
I moved here to get away from the crowd.
Right.
So
I,
that
used,
I
I spoke about
could
your
start
crowd.
my career.
You was stealing as a kid. I didn't mean to say it
What
like that.
story did
I didn't mean to
say?
say it like that. You was in the mall.
Oh,
I
the
rem-
Macy's?
Yes.
Oh, I shouldn't have said Macy's. Oh, that's a long time ago.
See?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
gonna see it.
So you,
My kids and I have talked about stealing because
we had the
I
conversation.
guess I can say 2 of my kids have.
Yes, they also.
Did I talk about that?
Yes, we spoke about
Yes.
that.
And so I had to,
We spoke about that.
explain to them. First, I was mad
Yeah.
because both of them got caught.
Yeah, but then when you and I
Yeah,
spoke, I said
and I
you
was
really
like-
can't be mad at them.
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Because
but
I
was
didn't
trying
bring.
to- I was trying to advocate for the kids.
The thing is, when I did that in my youth, it was because I couldn't get it another way. My
Right.
mother wasn't going to give me the money to buy
Right.
those jackets.
Right.
My kids come to me and ask me for every little thing.
And they get
So at the
everything.
point where you're going to go to the mall and see what you can.
They
No,
get
don't
everything.
do
Right.
that.
I was just
It's
advocating for the kid. They
Who told you
spoiled.
my kids get everything? I know you're not talking about it. Trailer load.
I'm making
That's
mine
right
earn.
there.
So
I'm
look,
making mine
Got more
earn.
kids than me.
We turned this on because when you came in, you said
What did I say?
that you wanted to explain your role,
That's not what I said.
but you said
No,
something
I-
like
You
that.
said that
did say
exactly.
Me into getting back on the camera because what I said was
I
I,
just-
wanted Malik to clear
Right.
things up,
Okay.
right?
things up what?
Because
Right.
when we do interviews, we about doing this documentary,
Mhm.
we're asked, "What was your favorite mixtape?" Which is a cool question, right? Like,
I think it's kind of generic, but okay.
yeah, but I can't
We had
remember.
better, right.
So like, I always, I know it was a Kid Capri mixtape, so I always reference that. But I'm like, I don't know. I haven't listened to these mixtapes in
Right.
a very long time.
Right.
Right? And that's not, my love for the culture just as a whole lends to doing projects like this, right?
Right.
But my expertise on it, I'm very far removed. I'm very far removed. So sometimes when we get it, and this is a part of the reason why when Malik and I decided we were going to, I guess, put it out because we would have been working on it, forever.
Forever.
I was like, we need to attach
Uh-huh.
an executive producer
Uh-huh.
who can look at this and lend that voice to this project. And that's why we collaborated with DJ Envy. So
Okay,
like,
right.
for me, when I'm, and this is, it's my first day on set. It's my first day on set.
You're in Brooklyn.
It's my first day on
You're
set.
here. We just happy that you're here.
It's my
fine.
first day on set.
You
Don't
could
know
even
which
answer it
phone-
if you need
She don't know
to.
which phone she got ringing.
Right, she
I'm
answered
on
like
an
2
interview.
different
I'm in an interview.
Right. Just,
What you doing?
Yeah. Put them on speakerphone.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Talking about
See
me,
what I deal with?
right? I could say that all the words I want. You on the phone?
I really like those.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
I got like
Okay.
more pair.
the other day.
Give me
Mhm.
20 minutes. I'm gonna call you back in
Royal
20
blue
minutes.
with the green little
Mhm.
Okay.
check
Okay.
on here.
Yeah, these are important for the summertime. These are summertime kids.
Yeah, I haven't had
She's
any
really
in
having a
long time.
5-minute conversation. She-
Is it tequila in here?
Yeah.
Hello? Yes, I'm here. Hi, Carol.
Carol, what's up, Carol?
Hey. How are
Carol,
you?
you're on here.
Carol,
You
I'm
see
on
what I
the
did
air right now.
See what I did with?
Mhm.
So I'm laughing because I was just like, let me say hi. But I said, can we talk in 20 minutes? Okay. All right, so let's do this in 20 minutes. But it is nice to talk to you and meet you.
You just
All right.
meeting Carol?
All right, I'll talk soon.
Wow, that's dope.
All right.
You just met Carol.
All right,
just
bye-bye.
now.
I don't know Carol.
You know Carol?
No.
No,
Shout out to Carol.
no, it's a business call that kind of like was coming in. It was like,
Right.
and I don't think he heard me say, I'm on an interview. I think he
Right.
probably thought.
No, they
oh,
just
yeah,
keep going.
just
Right.
hit it,
Once they
click it.
got you, they got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's difficult.
it's
So-
tequila in here. No, is no tequila in here?
If it is, why?
Yeah, I mean, it's
No,
fine.
that's clear, right?
20 minutes.
Let me see yours. Yeah, okay.
So, so tell me about the work, right? Because I had a conversation with Malik, and we talk about the length of time it took, and
Right.
all the things. What was your role? And tell me about.
Right. So Malik and
tell
I
me about it.
have collaborated on a lot of projects together, and I think that it's time for us to just grow Red Summer and grow a lot of the things that we want to do.
I agree.
Because I think that when you have the ability to do that, you should seize that opportunity. And we've been working on this for a while, and I just really was about the culture and telling stories. So I'm like, okay, let's do this, right? But it's like we would take a little bit of time, put it in, and then go back to what we were doing. Take more time, and I think it just got to a point where we just said, let's put this out.
Let's finish it up.
Let's finish it up and let's put it out. Especially because, when did this start? Did you talk about that before?
I told him about 10 years ago.
Yeah, like it started
least,
a while
at
ago.
least.
And it was really Malik's vision. Like he was the one that decided to do this, but I came in as a writer, as a story producer to kind of like help shape the story,
Right.
the narrative, and really,
So-
And the first thing she said, after the first thing she said,
What's the first thing you said?
I mean, this is just what I say all the
yeah,
time.
Tell me.
I said, "Where's the women?
That's real talk. Yeah,
Where's
that's
the women?"
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get Malik to finish a project? Because me and Malik got projects on. We got projects. So we got shit we also have been working on for years. Tell me how you got him to finish the project so I know what to do.
I think it has a lot to do with the checks and balances, right?
Right.
If you need him to do something, he got to need you to do something.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like, what type of reaction is
or
that?
something? That's not
Yeah,
true.
but it's like-
That's not true.
That's just a gem in life,
Right,
right? If you
right.
need something from somebody,
Right. But we got that relationship. He
Right.
call on me, I call on him.
and so he won't finish the stuff that you
I
he
mean,
put
that's
you on the
not
back
it.
burner.
Nah, that's
No.
not it. We
Put you on the
I-
back burner. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm on the back burner. I am on the back burner.
No,
Yeah.
the main character to the important tale has been running us in a circle for a minute, and it's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
That is-
and
that
then
was the
our
problem.
and then our main conduit
Right.
Yes.
passed away.
Yes.
Oh, the project that you're working on is a secret project. You can't say.
And we can talk about it offline.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
pretty
okay,
sure
we'll
I
talk
said-
about it off.
I send you
offline.
everything. For the record, I send her everything.
So she knows.
She
You know about
absolutely
this.
knows. She knows.
Yeah, you know about
But
He's
same
not
thing.
being 100% true.
I don't send you
it.
everything.
I'm glad
You
you
don't
And-
send me.
and I'll tell you this.
Malik will
I
be
sent-
working on a major production in another. I'm like,
That's not true. That's not true. It's not
Malik, you
true.
got a check from who?
That's not true. She said no to that. I want you to know she said no. She said
Hulu paying
she
you for
said
that?
she
Right.
said 4th of July weekend.
Right.
I'm out in New Orleans. I'm good. Exactly what she said.
Oh my God.
You didn't say that?
Did I say that last year?
Yeah,
I would have been like, yo.
It depends on the.
I didn't
I'm
ask you
flying
again because
out
you said
tonight.
you don't do the 4th of July. You said you spending time with your kids. Remember? You said
One year. I
Okay.
said that 1 year. I see Malik. I see pictures. I see the production company.
It's a whole thing.
that I'm a part of.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, are they in?
She literally
in,
said no.
in New Orleans
I said,
shooting
yo,
a
you-
Hulu,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
like live
Right.
Hulu
The
special
bag. You see the
Big-
bag. He's taking pictures with the bag.
with the comments. I'm like,
Those guys said.
Right.
Okay,
He's,
so-
he's
okay, so-
posted.
did Malik call me?
Those guys said.
He left me
No.
out of
No.
that. He probably called me. He was like, yeah, we
It's
doing
not
this
what
thing
I
in New
said.
Orleans. You want to do it? I need this and this and this and
No.
this by tomorrow.
No.
Malik, I can't do that.
That's not
I'm
true. That's not true. You didn't want to do New Orleans. You didn't want to do 4th of July weekend. You
See,
had a problem with that weekend.
I'm glad that you came here because we got a bunch of shit that we need to talk about.
Listen,
See?
he may be telling the truth about me not wanting to work that
Mhm.
holiday. Yeah, I
Right.
was probably working a
and
lot.
it's like, is
Right.
it really a holiday? Like, you can still enjoy yourself. It's New Orleans. Everybody loves New Orleans.
Have you ever been to Essence Fest?
no.
Come on.
Hey, yo.
Come on. What are you,
Exactly.
what are you talking
Right.
about?
Hey,
All I thought about was like New Orleans in July. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, yes. It's hot as shit.
I know.
But Essence Fest is lit.
And then when I work on a project, I'm literally on my feet all day and I'm like running around.
Yes.
It's just like something I can't, like we just did the BET Awards
Yeah.
and
Tell me about that.
it was fun. It was fun, but I was on my feet walking back and forth. I don't know. I
Nah,
just
I know
always
what you
feel like I
mean.
gotta see every little thing that's
Nah, I
happening.
know what you mean, because I was just talking to him. So some of the things that we do during the summer, I curate a lot of big events in Brooklyn, right? And every event is so meaningful and people love them so much, but it takes a lot out of me.
Yeah.
It's not like when we did the June 8th shit on my block, it was my birthday. They had an after party for my birthday. Like, yo, come to this. This is I went to sleep, bro. After the block party, I went upstairs and I slept until Monday.
What was the after party at?
The after party was at Nina's in Dumbo. Nice spot, beautiful spot. I didn't go. I never showed up. I was in the streets on Sunday, but then I slept again. You're right. I was on the streets. You're right. You're right. I was in the streets Sunday.
We celebrated your birthday like you were 50 and it was ridiculous.
I know, and I wasn't even 50 yet.
Yeah.
But
we like being
Nah,
outside.
that was my 50. That was my 49. But my point is, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
because when you are like when you have skin in that game, like in terms of curating it, you're gonna do whatever it takes to curate it. But after the after effects, so the front of the house, right? The consumer eats it. They love the steak. Oh, it was great. But they don't understand. I killed myself back there to make this for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it weighs on you. So I get it.
I think as producers, like we're very hands-on. And one of the things that I'm learning, right, is because I want to work on so many things and because I know as an executive producer, like I know so many executive producers that don't do anything on a project, right? When I executive produce a show, I'm like in everything. And it's not always good. Like I can watch a show that I've EP'd and I'm like, I was at every scene that was shot. Like every scene. I was in post with the team, like with the editors, like I'm like, I want to touch every piece of it. But I think that part of growing in what we do is being able to like build teams that we trust and build content that we can do together. And also it's passing it on to the next generation. So that's what I'm trying to do. Right. And I feel like Tale of the Tape is a great example of that because I came in and a lot of what I did was in post. And I really, I want to exercise that part of my storytelling. So, I saw he had shot all the interviews already by the time I came on board. Like which ones didn't you shoot?
Most of them.
I wasn't at any of the interviews.
Right, you wasn't at any of them.
Right, and that's what people were like, oh, what was it like when you interviewed? I was like, I wasn't there. Yeah, like, that was,
So
my role here was a little different.
So tell me about post in terms of helping to enhance the story post-production.
Well, once I think by the time I came on board and a lot of the footage was just there, we look at it, we're trying to map out the story. Yeah. Right? And I think that in writing it and deciding who we were going to have VO it, right? That's when you start to put it together, right? Because it has to make sense. And you have to have like an arc that kind of like from beginning to end. And I think what we did was, it was linear and I think it needed to be linear, right? Like, so I think there were a lot of components, but like, let's start by grabbing the audience, right? And I think that's why we started with the Kendrick and who else was in the front? J. Cole?
J. Cole.
Right,
Big Sean,
right? Starting with the artists and what I think the general audience understands like a mixtape is these days, and then kind of going back into the history.
Right, so backing into what it was.
Right, and then kind of going chronologically up until what we see as a representation of mixtapes today.
Growing up, what was a mixtape to you?
I was in that blend tape era. So early 90s, I used to go out. I used to buy my mixtapes when they came out on Fridays. I bought them either in Hunts Point.
Oh, because she was up there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or Fordham Road.
She was a DJ.
I know, she said that.
I talked
DJ
about
Kim.
It wasn't DJ Kim.
We had a good interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a good interview. People said we had good chemistry on camera. We had like a good conversation. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I have that like.
You have that ability.
Yes.
To turn it on.
Yes.
Indeed. You said the mixtape, the blend tape era. So that was like early 90s.
Early
right?
90s. Yep.
We had a conversation about our favorite DJs by borough. Now, I'm going to be honest with you.
I had that conversation?
No, we had
Oh, y'all had that conversation.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
I kind of blended the Bronx Uptown together.
Right.
That was wrong of me. But that was wrong of me because they didn't allow me to. Like they was like, nah, fuck
Can't
that.
do that.
You can't
Right.
do that. So
I went
I'm
to
gonna give you.
campus.
I know.
It's from Harlem. You
I
can't
did. I
put
went to
Harlem
Tech.
and Bronx
Yeah, because
together.
these are the drill.
Anything on that, it's all.
These
one
are
to
the
me.
drill down questions I ain't ready for. But go ahead,
You good?
because I can't.
I think you're ready for this.
Okay,
it's,
go
it's,
ahead.
it's a much better conversation than what's your
Okay.
favorite mixtape.
Okay, let's go.
Shout out to whoever said
Because
that.
I'm not
bro.
really gonna be at, like when you talked about Grandmaster Vic,
Uh-huh,
right? Like
right.
I knew I identified him with Queens because I know just being from the Bronx, we were very, very adversarial with Queens, right? So everything was like the Bronx versus Queens.
Yankees Mets.
Right.
So it's
Yankees
just
Mets.
like just what it was. So I know that it's almost like a different lineage of mixtapes
It
when you
is.
go to the
No, it
outer
is.
boroughs.
No, it is. It's
Right.
different because I spoke about the fact of the matter is the first mixtapes
Mhm.
that came to me, being a kid in Crown Heights,
Mhm.
was DJ Barnabas reggae mixtapes.
Oh, okay.
So
Definitely like from
before
Brooklyn,
Kid
right.
Capri, before Ron G, before SNS, before Doo-Wop, before Vic, it was reggae mixtapes, right? It was DJ Smooth C, it was Barnabas, it was the Vegetable Tape.
Right.
Like this is what was proliferating in Crown Heights and Flatbush in the late 80s,
Right.
right? And that was how we internalized Lovers Rock
Right.
and Rockers. That's how I got it. It was from the parties and then it was from the tapes. Even Sting International used to do amazing tapes.
It's very like I think
You know?
unique to each borough. Like what I can remember, right? Because Harlem and the Bronx were similar, but
Right.
Harlem was more blend tape. That was the era that we came up on, right? The Ron G's.
Mhm.
But then the Bronx had a very specific boom bap type of mixtape era.
Right.
Right, and I think a lot of the producers came out of that, right? So like Buck Wild, Easy LP, like the whole digging in the crates, like they used to
Came
do mixtape.
out of that, right?
Right, you
Absolutely.
combine-
I remember
I'm
Buck
not
Wild
sure
mixtapes.
if they would put their beats on their tapes early on, but I'm sure there was some sort of like, from my memory, you know, production displayed on their mixtapes. So a
Right.
lot of that stuff, and that was to me when I think of like specifically the Bronx, right? Even though you have the doo-wop and you have Kid Capri's Harlem though, right?
Kid Capri's
Kid Capri's
Yeah, like
Bronx.
for me,
Kid Capri's Bronx?
Yeah.
Okay, Kid Capri's
are you
Bronx.
sure?
Yeah, very sure.
Why am I'm getting Harlem?
Yeah. Even Brucey B is Bronx.
Brucey B is Bronx.
Brucey
Right.
B
So
is
like,
different.
We forgot. At one time we said we thought he was home. He's Bronx.
Yeah, Brucey B
oh,
is definitely
see Malik,
Bronx.
you know, he did the
Busy
interviews.
B
I
is
wasn't there.
Harlem though.
Huh?
Busy B? It's Harlem.
Busy
Right.
B is
So
Bronx.
like
Brucey
so
B is Bronx.
so you can identify the boroughs, right? And it's funny because when you used to go buy the tapes, it would be like it was very rare that a DJ from another borough was in that like slot unless they had gotten to a certain level, right?
It was
then they
only
were
the
big.
top. Like I was saying,
Yeah.
I used to go to Coliseum to cop mixtapes. And so that's probably why Vic stands out to me. Smidge McBee, Clue, and even Envy to a certain extent. But yeah, because I went to Queens, that's why the Queens DJs
Right.
stand out. I don't think I ever went to, I can't remember going to 2/5 to buy mixtapes, right? But then also, a lot of this shit was bootleg because everything was being bootleg.
Everything
back
was
then.
bootleg, yeah.
And
Especially
so
on
downtown
125th Street.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
was an amalgam of everything because they was bootlegging the shit,
Right.
right? But here's the question. You ready for the question?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Queens, Brooklyn, Harlem, and the Bronx.
hmm
Name your favorite DJ from each borough.
Now the funny thing is, you just completely left out Staten Island.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
I'm
not,
glad that
no.
you did.
You know what he
'cause
said
I would
earlier?
Never
I
have
said
picked one.
respectfully fuck Staten Island.
Why?
I said respectfully.
I'm sure Wu-Tang had
Wu-Tang,
mathematics.
most of them niggas is from Brooklyn, number one. So let's be clear. Most of the cats, I said it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Kim. That's you that did it. You made
So
it.
I didn't.
So look,
So I have
so
to name
the-
my favorite DJ from each borough.
Queens, Brooklyn, Harlem, and the Bronx.
That's really bad.
I'm here to help if
because-
you need.
Please, because
Well, you got the Bronx.
no, that's why it's
you-
bad. Because I'm not.
Look,
gonna
when
say a
I
Bronx
said
DJ.
that we never crossed paths,
I'm
you said,
just
well,
gonna
I
lose
was
my
in the
Bronx
industry.
card.
You like low
No,
key,
you
like
get to pick one from each borough.
Doo-wop from the Bronx.
do I? Okay,
All
cool
right.
with that.
Bam. Clue
Harlem.
from Queens.
Bronx.
Cool. Are you just wait?
No.
Are you just saying names? I'm saying who hit you? Like, what was the one that was like, this is mine?
I'm saying names of mixtapes I know I had, right? Like
Right.
I've heard a lot of mixtapes when I was coming up,
Right.
but that I went and bought a tape,
Yes.
I can say
That's what I'm
these
saying.
DJ, I
Okay.
bought that tape.
So Doo-Wop in the Bronx.
Absolutely.
Clue
In Queens.
in Queens.
Ron G in Harlem.
and what Brooklyn? That's gonna be the hard one because ain't nobody in Brooklyn was really pushing mixtape. And I want to know why that was, right? Like, why C and these cats never was mixtape dudes?
Mr. C he had mixtapes?
Not really. You know who had the mixtape?
Not really?
The call you made to get that interview done.
Who I called?
You called Clark? Called Clark.
Again,
He
production.
came out in a snowstorm.
Right.
Yes.
I love
See
Clark,
that?
though.
I was around doing my job.
Yeah.
I was.
See?
Yep.
Yeah. See.
Yep. And
So
he's a great storyteller.
Oh, yeah.
No, we said Clark Kent probably has the highest IQ of any DJ that I've ever met.
I say he's the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's literally in every moment.
I think it's
Every moment you can
Yeah,
think
yeah,
of.
yeah.
I think
That's
it's important.
yeah.
I think it's important. What do you think has been,
That's a documentary.
and I didn't even
It
ask
is.
you this, what do you think has been the overall legacy of the mixtape era? In
Did you ask
music
Malik
and
this
culture?
hard
No, I
question?
did not. No, I saved it for you. I was waiting for you to
What
come.
do I think is the legacy? I think we talked about this in another interview, and I remember us kind of deep diving into how the mixtape has evolved throughout time, and
Right.
it's always sort of like this, even when we think of today what a playlist is and how people put that together
Right.
on the streaming platforms, I think that's where it has turned into
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
But I just feel like this idea of us, the curation that went into mixtapes, right?
Mhm.
The idea of like curating our favorite whatever,
Mhm.
right? Whether it's the music, whether it's the lifestyle, the fashion, just the way that we put things together in the hip hop community, I feel like that is a representation of our culture and like, how we creatively take, right? It's almost like you can think about it when it comes to sampling, right? And the art of sampling in music, right? But it's how we take something and we like turn it into like we put it all together, we mix it up, and we make it our own. And I think that's really in the most broadest way I could explain what I feel like the legacy of a quote unquote mixtape is, and not the mixtape in the format that we are talking about and that we're documenting,
Right.
but just in general what it represents.
Did you ever make a mixtape as a kid?
I'm sure I made a mixtape as a
So
kid.
I had a radio, right?
I did.
So I had the type of radio, I had the type of boombox where when you press record, you could still talk into the mic.
Ah.
So you could record and you can talk, right?
Oh, that was an expensive
So,
one.
Yeah, I
That
had,
was
I
an
had, I had,
expensive
yeah, I had a
one,
good,
yeah.
I had a good joint. So my sisters would want to talk on the tape, and I would be like, "Nah, you can't talk on my tape." I'd be shitting on them. You can't.
And they're
you
older
can't-
than you, right?
They're 4 years younger than me. So they were like,
The twins?
I was like 10. The twins are younger than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like 10, they was like 6. I'd be mushing them, get out of here, you can't talk on the joint. But we used to make mixtapes, me and my sisters, right? And so what a mixtape is to me, in a very fundamental hip hop way, it's like, tell me the 12 songs that move you the most and give me an opportunity to lay those out on a floor or on a tape, and I'm gonna do that. To this day, I have playlists that I run to, fucking mixtapes, B. Like so Apple Music has a station for you, right? So if you subscribe to Apple Music, it'll say Malik's station. So it says Marlon station. And so when I'm running to Marlon station, it happened today. I was running this morning and the Good, Bad, and Ugly with Consequence and Kanye came on.
My shit.
I was like, oh shit, I ain't hear this shit in years. Add to playlist.
Right. I don't
Right?
have Apple Music. You got Apple Music?
I make playlists.
Well, Apple
Mine.
Do
Music?
you have Apple Music?
You want to hear some of my playlists?
I just asked if you have Apple Music. I do want to hear your playlist. I will show you my playlist.
I
You
just,
show me.
So I just got off
So, like-
Pandora.
Uh-huh.
and
You
now-
just come on,
We're having a
Malik.
whole different
It's free.
Come
conversation.
on, Malik. Pandora.
So like I got playlists. So like
It's free,
this
bro.
is what I do, right? Like
So look,
I
I'm gonna
have.
show you my.
How much
So
is
now
this
you want
cost?
to battle.
What's
my
up with
playlist.
this?
Go on, here, take it.
But you don't even have. I don't want to hold your playlist.
No, I'm saying I want you to go through my playlist.
Why?
Because I want you to see
But
all the
I'm
songs.
getting interviewed.
But I want
it's
you to
about
give me
my
your playlist. I want you to give me
Okay.
yours.
Let me see.
Here,
Let
you
me
give
see
me
what
yours.
No, because they're very.
All right,
personal
I'm not
and
giving.
special
Yeah.
to me.
Okay, so tell
So
me
I
about
was
your
going
playlist.
to intro a playlist.
All right.
Now ask me about my playlist.
All right, tell me about your playlist.
Okay. So I love to like make.
Hold on, wait a minute. I think one of my
Yeah.
songs came on. Hold on a
What's your song?
minute. Punch Bowl.
So I have a playlist called Foundation.
Tell me about it.
So Foundation has like a lot of the early. I sent this to somebody last week, like a newer, younger artist. They were like, never heard these songs, but it has like the message, Do you know what I'm saying? Like you see my playlist there.
The original
see?
message.
If I
not-
rule
not
the world, 5 minutes fun. Oh, this is really dope. This is
No, this is a real
Yeah, this
playlist.
is-
Like
can
I
I-
do this.
may I-
Like hold on.
I wanted to
I
scroll.
want to explain
okay.
that I do this.
Yeah.
And that
Me
when
too.
we talking about the mixtapes and
Right.
how it's evolved and my like whatever DJ passion I had, like
Uh-huh.
I do this. So you
Uh-huh.
see the
But I want to
credible
scroll.
here, like
May I scroll?
you may scroll, but it's my playlist. So if you borrow
But-
my playlist, you have to credit me.
Okay.
See, this
I'm
is
fine with that.
this is
I'm
the
a-
thing. This is personal and private.
I'm
so
fine.
if people get my playlist,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll be like, you can't
Have you ever
Try
shared
to-
a playlist?
try
Have-
to. I have shared playlists with special people, but I'm like, if I share my playlist with you, you have to credit me. Like, don't be in your car
But credit
with my
you where?
playlist.
Like
and
if I'm playing the
act like you
playlist,
built
if
it.
I'm playing the playlist in the car, I'm supposed to be like, yo, this is Kim's playlist.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
All
Let me
right, there
see.
you go.
Is this on another platform?
This
'Cause
is.
now I have
It's not
Tidal.
even a long playlist.
All right. so- okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean
All
to
right.
do that to your playlist.
All right.
It's not like you swipe left.
As I remember, I build them as I
Uh-huh.
remember. It's not a long playlist,
Mhm.
but as I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like I got Crash Crew on there, Cold
Can you share
Crush.
that with me?
You know what I'm saying?
But here's the
Same
question.
rules
I'm
apply
on
to
Tidal
you.
though. I got.
No, you
shout out to
gotta
my man
have
Fat.
You gotta
Apple
have
Music.
Apple Music.
You gotta have
Bro, you
Apple
gotta
Music.
get Apple Music.
Tidal's
like, I
black
have-
owned, bro.
Okay, I understand you. I.
TJ Live on Tidal.
Listen, here's
Okay.
the thing. I had went. I'll tell you like a story, right? Like
Yes.
so, I do these playlists, right? So like, I went into one of these songs. I was like, oh, I remember this song. It used to have the vinyl to it. It was called "Here Comes That Beat" by Pumpkin and the Profile All Stars, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm listening to the song, right?
Let me hear it.
And I'm listening to it, and it has Andre Harrell on it, but I didn't realize that in the moment that I was adding it.
Right.
So when I, my friend Tracy Waples
Mhm.
is like, that's her mentor. So
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to her. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that he was actually on this record.
Right.
So like I do things like that,
Right.
that like now, how many years later,
Right.
that song came out.
That's like 40 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow. Like I
Right.
didn't know that that's even what I was listening to.
Do you
so that's
consider
my foundation
that? Do you
playlist.
consider that a mixtape?
Yes. Okay, but I got more.
Can you want to share that with me?
Yes, I can share it with you. But it's not finished. You saw how it was short?
That's
Okay.
all right. You can share.
So
with
let's
me
do-
in the ad.
If you
Okay, so here's my next playlist. Y'all ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
how
I'm
did
just
I not know this?
that I make playlists.
Yeah. You ain't never shared that.
You didn't interview me for your documentary. So I have a playlist called, y'all gonna love this one, okay?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Blue Collar Rap.
I'm not.
So
I don't
that's
know if
sitting
I
here
love
on
that
Hip Hop
one.
Closet.
You said I would love it. I don't know if I love the title. I'm sorry.
Why?
Tell me what blue collar rap is.
So Blue Collar Rap is like Lords of the Underground, Funky Child, like Prodigy, Keep It Thorough,
I like that.
like Crew, Just in the Case.
Oh, I love
That's one of my
Crew.
favorite
That's one of
hip-hop
my
records of
joints,
all
time.
kid.
Listen,
Yes.
I got-
remake that.
Yes.
I got-
Yes.
Remade
Council
that.
Remains, right? Yeah.
Shout out
You know
to
what I'm
Cons. I
saying?
spoke to him yesterday.
I got Poor Righteous Teachers.
Okay.
I don't know. I
I know
just
about
felt
that.
like this was before, the platinum era, the shiny suit
We spoke
era.
about that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I call it blue collar rap. It was
Yeah,
like
we spoke about
when
that
rap
very
wasn't
thing.
really rich.
Right before. So look, let me ask you this
I got
question
more.
because we spoke about this. Hold on, I want you to give me more.
You want another? You only get one playlist per day.
Are you gonna share them with me?
Yes. Okay.
Wait, can I,
I got
choose?
another one.
Wait, can I choose which one you share with me?
Yes. I'll
I
tell
want
you a
blue
little
collar
bit.
rap.
You want blue collar rap?
Yeah, I
Okay, I
want blue
got
collar
you.
rap.
Don't even know what
I
else you
got you.
got.
I'm
gonna see.
I can't put it on the.
Where are the women?
I have women. Hold on. I have a Golden Age podcast.
Okay.
So the Golden Age has the Golden Age like
My
EPMD,
philosophy, I ain't
KRS.
Yeah, this
You know what I'm
is
saying?
nice.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
This is nice.
See, that's what I do, and
Yeah.
it's sequenced
Why you
properly.
she said this is what I do.
So it's-
I'm gonna
I like
develop
that.
an
But
app
then
so
I
you
go a
can
little,
share
I
playlists
go a
on
little
different
left
platforms.
too, right? I have one called Love and Hip Hop, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's not about love and
The
hip
show?
hop. It's hip hop songs with the title "Love" in it. So
Let me
you
see.
see,
Oh, you really
I really do
you
this.
really
I'm telling you.
curate.
Yeah.
Why didn't you interview her for this? She's making mixtapes. right?
I'm making
You're not doing
mixtapes,
this.
right? So wait, I have another one. I got one more, and then I'm gonna get off of it because like
That's
now I'm
nice.
like in my little bag.
Right.
I have one called Obscure Hardcore.
Nah, you really be wildin'. You got too much time.
So listen,
You-
but that's why they're not finished because they're all kind of keep going.
Yeah.
So like this one has
hip hop.
Obscure Hardcore.
Obscure hardcore.
So this one has like Smooth the Hustler, broken
Let me see.
language.
Turn it around. Let me see.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Wow, Danger Zone. I ain't hear that in a while. This is on.
this is
Apple.
on my own personal
Broken
like.
Language. Right
You have
back
Apple?
at you. Exhibit C.
You got Apple?
Top
Isn't
of
that-
New York?
I'm the
Isn't
only
that
one who got Apple
more-
Music.
Top of New
Isn't
York.
that
That's
like-
my shit.
But wait,
You don't?
it gets smooth too.
You got a Droid.
So
you probably
don't.
you
It's
can't
not
have
just
Apple.
hip hop. It's
Okay.
not just hip hop.
Okay.
I have a whole playlist called Different.
Yo,
You
you,
know,
really are. a
Yeah,
DJ.
like I
You
got
a
like
mixtape
Coldplay.
DJ?
I got
Okay.
like
She's my favorite
Blondie.
mixtape DJ from Jersey.
you know what I'm saying? Like I got more too. Like
Right.
everybody's gonna steal my playlist. I got oldie but
Right.
goodie.
Right.
I got
So it goes to what my question is, Kim.
I got a Christmas playlist. Okay.
This goes back to what my question is in terms of in a very rudimentary way.
Yes.
We love mixtapes because
Absolutely.
they speak to the best songs that we wanted to hear. That's
Yep.
why I fuck with a mixtape for two reasons. I knew that the DJ was gonna play all the hot joints that I wanted to hear, but then also it was, and this is early on, it was the freestyles. Cause you would have an artist spit on a mixtape some shit that you never heard before. And it became like almost like for a moment, until it got commodified, it was really like those freestyles were important. Like those were culturally
They
significant.
made
joints.
artists. A lot of artists.
Yeah,
got
it
deals
made
from
artists,
like
right?
that.
It made
My
artists.
man Bathgate from Harlem. He was on the Clue Professional Part.
Oh, Billy
too.
Bathgate.
Yeah. Some of
Yeah.
the greatest freestyles
Yeah.
that came
When
out.
when Agent 106 did the joint with Method and Redman on G-Bo the Pro number 15, they taped it in LA. They was on a radio station in LA and they would freestyle on the radio station. G-Bo put it at the beginning of Double R number 15. Bro, that shit hit. Everybody was, you know what I mean? So those freestyles, it's like mining. It's like a treasure. It was just like, because it was no different than the fashion, because that was what the fashion was in hip hop in the late 80s, early 90s. I didn't want you to have the shirt that I had. So I would go somewhere to get the shirt.
That's why I didn't want to give you my playlist.
But we in
'cause, like,
2024.
you know,
You can share one with me.
I will, but it's
In
gonna
order to
say
do
my
that,
name on
in
it.
order
It'll
to-
say by Kimberly Osorio.
I have to give you my information.
Okay.
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 All right.
Let's just let this happen. Let's just make this happen.
So you said Clue. I don't think you said a Brooklyn DJ. Oh, you did. You said
we
Clark
I
Kent.
said Clark
Clark
Kent.
Kent.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So last question, and then we'll jump.
Okay.
on.
Good.
Why is it good?
Because
Why is it
I
good? But you came Brooklyn dressed. You
came
got
to
the
Brooklyn.
the Biggie
I
joint.
did, but you know, like some days I just
I
feel
want
like
you to judge too.
I just feel like I don't
What?
want to do an interview.
But
Today
wait,
I felt like
the-
I didn't want to do an interview.
Does this feel like
That's
an interview?
rare.
What? That
Does-
is not rare.
But does this feel like
That
an
is
interview?
not rare. No, it
This
feels
don't
like
feel
a
like an interview.
conversation.
Yeah,
It
this don't
feels
feel
like a
we wildin'.
conversation.
Kai and them laughing at us. They like we off the rails right now. Yeah, it's
Oh
unhinged.
my
This whole thing is
God.
unhinged.
And
I
that's,
don't think.
and that's why I don't like to do interviews so much, because I feel like I have no filter. And I feel like I get on certain things and I say to
I'm here.
people like,
I'm here.
That's why this is
Let me
perfect,
filter.
'cause this is
Right.
conversation.
I'll make sure we go
Yeah, I
over the
think
rail. I'll
it's
make sure
fine.
everything's fine.
okay, good.
All right.
That's why
Malik's
this is
here.
perfect, 'cause this is conversation.
So,
Great.
so what I want to talk to you about as a writer,
Okay, good.
right?
See, this is what questions I want to have.
Yeah. So as a writer, and I haven't seen Taylor the Tape yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't
He
seen
literally
it.
could have hit me at any point and said, "Yo,
I
send me a
didn't
link."
see it. I haven't seen
Really?
it. I haven't seen it. I've been
Shame
busy.
on
I've been
you.
busy curating culture. I'm sorry.
Shame on you.
I know. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
But you
though, 'cause
should
he said
watch
it's no
it.
problem. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Okay, good.
But what I want to ask you is, as a writer, right? So writers are always looking at things from the perspective of the story.
Mm-hmm.
What does mixtapes say about the story of hip hop?
I think, and I always look for the story in
me
everything,
too. Yeah.
everything. But I think for mixtapes, it's kind of like, you know, part of the reason why we chose to do this was because our narratives are running away from us. And for a mixtape and just the changing definition and just the evolving of what it is, it's almost like if you don't document it, you will lose the true history of it.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's our responsibility with our stories to make sure that we're telling those stories.
Let me ask you, what you guys could have done better?
Oh,
I'm sure
I
it's
have,
amazing.
I have so many things
Uh.
that I have so many things. But you know what's crazy? It's like, you know, I think, you know, we were struggling with we need to get this out, right? We need to get it done. We've been, you know, we've been working on it too long.
Right.
And I really appreciate the people that have watched it and called and been like, yo, that was really good. Like, I really enjoyed that. That's when I feel like a job well done, right? Because I'm always nitpick at everything I do. Oh, we should have got an interview with so-and-so. Oh, you know what we should have did? We should have added this. I should have changed the writing. Whatever it is, I'll go up until the last minute. Like, someone said to me once, they compared me to Andre 3000. And I always thought it
not
was
the
funny.
flute, Andre.
No,
I hope not
yes.
the flute,
And
Andre.
they said, you're the type of creative that you have to physically snatch my computer away from me and steal the content. And I said, yeah, that is me. I never will send it, right? So like the deadline will be a certain, and I'm like still writing. And I'm like, no, I just want to change this thing. Or I want to look at it one more time. Like, that's just how I've been. So like, I need a deadline and I need to work towards the deadline. And I think that's, what production has even kind of trained us to do. Like, yo, we got a production timeline. We got to get this out. At a certain point, it's over.
I want to
No
ask
more
y'all
interviews.
something because
Part two.
everybody here is a creative, right? But I think it's important to delineate how we create. So like, I'm a writer. At the root of myself, I'm a writer, but I'm also a programmer. Like, I enjoy programming things. I enjoy creating experiences for people to come out and enjoy themselves, right? And because I've begun to get significant buy-in from people, it almost heightens my need to do it, right? You're a writer. At the root, you're a writer.
I saw what you did with delineate and create, but it's okay. Did you see my mixtape? Did y'all see that?
Jesus Christ.
I'm glad you saw what I
Off the
did.
hinges, or yeah?
It's all hinged. It's fine. They're still taping. As long
Okay,
as they record it, we're
good.
You create through vision, right? You kind of see you're like Bill Parcells almost. You see the shit, you delegate, you authorize, everything comes together. You're like the conductor that I spoke about earlier. Have you ever thought about creating in a different way? Like, here's a question. What is the most obtuse way you've ever created that goes against you as a writer? Like, the playlists don't count because that's hip hop. What is the most obtuse way that you've ever?
I heard you.
Okay,
He's like,
I just want to.
Did you hear my
Did you
use
hear
of the word
that?
obtuse?
Right. I want you to know that I use that word.
Like the SAT word. As a writer, I think is a lot of writers use flowery words, right? And I have tried my hand at that, and I have done that.
Right.
And so my best writing is always my rewriting. So once I pour everything out on the page, I go back and I take out everything that was
Flowery. Right.
and flowery. And I say, you don't speak like that. You don't talk like that.
Right.
Like, I'm more about the meaning of the writing behind it than I am about the fluff, right? So like the practice of like the prose and the poetry of it, which I can get into that too, right? Like I'll write a little poem here and there, but it's never probably going to be published because that's super personal to me.
Gotcha.
But when it comes to the writing, especially when you're writing for TV, one of my first lessons in writing a script and writing for television was like handing in something and having a producer cross everything out above me. Like, this is too many words. And so like, how do I say what I said in this paragraph where I tend to over-explain myself, right? But just give it to me in 3 words. How do you do that in 3 words? I'm like, 3 words. Because on TV, you don't have that much time. So I think for me as a writer, that's been like the sort of opposite way of approaching writing. Now I look at things like, before I even put it on the page, I'm like, what am I really trying to say here? And how can I say it simply, clearly, and with the most punch so that I have an impact on what people are consuming?
Gotcha. What about you?
Well, I just want
Because I just want to say she really didn't answer my question. by
I
the way,
did.
but
I did answer your question. I did. I just said
I
it
asked
so well.
Outside of writing, what was the most obtuse thing you've done creatively? That's what I asked.
Oh, was that the question?
That was exactly the question. But it's fine.
No, I didn't hear the outside of writing part. See, that's a comprehension problem. And that comes with my
That's fine.
So,
Like
outside of writing,
outside of who you are creatively at your root. That's the whole point.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was saying about me. Like, I'm a writer. I've always considered myself a writer. But really, I feel like my creative wheelhouse is actually in programming. It's not in writing. It's like creating experiences for people, like doing things that people come to and be like, oh my God, this was an amazing thing. That's really what has been driving me the past few years. Mm-hmm. Now, I can say I reached this point from being a writer. Anything that I do, I've reached it from being a writer, but I found so much more to creating from actually programming. So that's what I was asking you. Like, outside of writing.
That's
you didn't
complicated.
hear that part.
No, I didn't hear
but
that
you
part.
heard obtuse, though.
But I did.
You
But
was trying to
you
shit on
didn't
my
say,
word.
no, I wasn't trying to shit on my word. But I will say that, like, for me, I was never a child that colored well, right? Like, I didn't color in the lines. Like, I couldn't, like, it just looked okay, right? But I love to express myself creatively, whether it's art or just putting things on a page or painting my house or cutting the bushes in the front of my house, right? Like, I'm not good at it. But there's an exercise of discipline in me trying to be good at it. And I think that's probably when I'm my most creative outside of my art form, right?
Gotcha.
So, like,
Yeah.
I've been told that I kind of thrive in chaos.
I think that's, you gotta be.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm like, how do I make everything less chaotic? Try to paint something, try to, cut those bushes and make them all even. Like, it's really hard for me to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Malik?
It's a therapy session now.
I mean, I've always thought that when it's all said and done, like, what am I going to do, right? I don't want to be on set all the time. Right? Maybe I could just try my hand. I just write, right? I might just write. I might just try to do what she does.
Right. I'm definitely gonna try to do what he does, by the way.
Right.
Like, because he can see everything when he's shooting it. I just cut his whole answer off. He can see everything except my hair out of place. I'm like, Malik, you didn't see that my hair was messed up? Can see that. Right. But that's a woman's eye, because that's what we're looking at.
But what you see is messed up. I see some different.
No, I know, but that's the genius in collaboration. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
So,
but it's a lot of times, especially when Malik is pointing a camera at me.
But no, like, writing, and there was a point for this doc when Kim got really busy, and I had to write some VO copy. Right? So I wrote it, and I sent it. And she fucking hated it.
No,
but she didn't say shit.
She changed
everything. She changed everything I wrote.
But she was nice as hell about it.
She could have said, "Oh, this is good. Start." I'll
she changed the whole shit.
Like, I never wrote shit, so I have to rethink.
Right.
If I'm gonna actually write, when I just want to, like.
That's how you learn.
Be on an island and kind of chill and just write and consult. Right. Yeah. That's what I would aspire to do. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. She kind of crushed that dream.
I think the reason why I asked that question is because I think
I had to do that because you won't let me hold the camera.
The thing with creatives is we get so kind of centered in our mode of creation, right? That it becomes how we express ourselves in life. But it doesn't mean that there aren't other ways for us to express ourselves. Right. And it's only until we step outside of the box and do. So for me, the reason why I was able to find myself in programming and curating things is because the writing, like, I wrote the novel came out, it did okay, and then there was no fucking fireworks. It wasn't like I became this Times best-selling author. And so it was like, okay, how do you express yourself day to day so that people can see and understand who you are? Because at the end of the day, every creative wants that. Every creative wants the world to fucking understand what it is that we see. What do you say?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no, because I think you have to be comfortable with your own creation, right? So, like, I always want to succeed. I always want to make money. That's in me. But I feel like there came a point where I just had to be content with what I did. And I'm glad you used the book excuse, because it's really hard.
Excuse?
I love, she's like low-key, like, boom, boom.
No, I didn't mean, this is natural.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
She crushed it.
It did like 3,500. It didn't do a lot. You're right.
But 3,500 is a successful book,
It
right?
was.
So to make
Yeah.
the New York Times bestseller list, a lot of people don't know. I think it's somewhere between like 5 and 10,000, right? Like
Right.
copies. It's not a lot. Like
Right.
you're not putting your book out and selling like
Right.
30,000
Gotta do that
copies.
one
Right,
week,
right. I
though.
gotta do right.
That's-
You gotta do it in a week.
No,
You gotta do it in a week.
that's a phenomenon,
Right.
right? Like when we see those books that are like, but when you go to the bookstore, it's like 1 trillion books available, especially new releases. So I always tell people that tell me, "Oh, I want to write a book." I'm like, "Okay, I want you to want to write it for yourself,
Right.
because it's more about you getting out what you need to get out than I
Right.
think it is about." Like, kind of making the New York Times bestseller. I mean,
Yeah, but-
there's
so-
that also,
Yeah,
but
I didn't. When I said that, I didn't mean that. What I'm saying is that from a creative standpoint, I have something inside of me and I want to let it out.
right, that's what writing
Right?
a book
and
is.
That's every day of my life
Mhm.
is the same shit. I have something in me and I want to let it out. So if I'm doing a block party with Stretch Armstrong, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I see it. Like I see it. I can
Mhm.
taste it. I know that this shit is gonna be dope. I just got to put it together and let it out.
Right.
And that's what the process of creation is. That's literally what creation is, right? You ideate, you vision it, you create it, and then you give it to the world. And
Right.
how they perceive
Receive
it is
it
how
is-
they
yeah,
perceive it,
exactly.
right? Even though Blow One Down sold 3,500 copies, it's an amazing fucking
That
book
was the
to
second
me.
plug that you put.
I'm saying, I mean, they could buy it if they want. It's
That was
fine.
It's bouncing right here.
Right.
underneath.
It's here.
Yeah.
Blowing Down is the name of the
Blowing
title.
Down.
I didn't say the title the
Said,
first
let me talk
time.
about my book.
Right, let me tell you how I rock, because y'all got
Y'all
shit
can
out.
still
I
get
got
it on
shit out
Amazon.
too.
Yeah, like,
We
I
got
saw
shit out,
That
right?
was great. Like,
Oh,
you
we're
did it
so
twice.
unhinged.
I was like,
I'm
you
good at this. This is another way that I
plugged this book
create.
twice.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
yeah,
I'm good at this.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think we good. We did. Damn, it's already almost 10
See, look
o'clock.
at that.
Look, they ready for us to be.
They're going.
Wait,
They're done.
two things.
They're done.
Two
They're
things.
done
Number
with this
one,
conversation.
first. Well, second thing first.
Okay.
I also want you. He decided. We do sneaker awards. You were here before, so I need you to tell us which one of us had the fly sneaker. Calm down. Look, she coming. Relax. But before you
Just
do
'cause
that,
she's a woman,
I
don't
want to
blame her.
ask you, how was your birthday?
Thank you. My birthday was great.
Did you see my comment?
Did you say happy birthday?
I did.
Thank
I said
you.
happy
I
birthday
saw
to a
your
beautiful.
comment.
You no,
Yes, I
you
did.
didn't.
Yes,
You
I did.
asked me if I
I
said
saw
it.
all the comments. Did I like the comment? Did I
You
like
probably
it?
liked all your comments.
I do. If it's my birthday wishes, I do
Yeah.
like all my comments.
Yeah.
So those are the
You enjoyed
MX
it?
90s,
These are the MX-90s,
right?
black and white.
Yep.
Basic.
Those are the most comfortable
Mm-hmm.
in my mind.
I love them.
Those are the.
I love it. Oh, here she comes with the
she's
functionality
coming out.
behind the thing. I'm not gonna
Those
tell you
are
who
over
won.
there.
I'm not gonna tell you who won. That is so crazy. I don't know how I feel about
They're
that.
very comfortable.
I like that. I never
And
seen
then-
that.
And then here he comes.
No, just some light dunks.
Light dunks, right?
Nice colorway.
Right.
My nickname's Mess. You see the mess all the time.
All right. So who wins, Kim? In your opinion, you see the three.
I'm gonna go with the MX 90s.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow.
That's who should have won the first time.
Who'd you go with?
That's
go
who
with?
should- That's who should have won the first.
With the
time.
dunks? You went with the dunks? That's like the regular answer.
Right,
That's what everybody
right. That's
says.
right. That's
No,
the.
it's not.
That's a.
No,
thank
that's
you.
not the
Thank you.
regular
That's the
answer.
regular answer, B.
That's
This
the
is
answer
classic.
of like.
Something really fun.
This is summertime.
Yeah,
That check
I
is
almost
fire.
went with that
That
because-
check. The check is fire. That's what won it. The check.
But that-
But it's summertime.
Wait, she's saying something.
I
Oh.
like that was original. The opening up, I've never seen that before.
Right.
So that was she gets points for that.
Okay.
But
But
that's what I would have on.
that's what I would have
Yeah.
on.
That's
That's
what
what
I
I
I
would
would.
didn't go well with
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
how-
All
right,
I
so
went
we
with
done.
more stylish.
Hey, yo, what was the live saying while we was talking all this shit?
Nothing. They said they checked out.
They
They
checked
checked out when you was promoting your book for the fourth time.
Anybody have any questions about the tail of the tape?
Great.
Because
Where can they find it? Anything?
Amazon Prime. Right?
Amazon Prime, Verizon Spectrum, Verizon Spectrum, and you can go to tailorthetapefilm.com and click on the links there, and go to Red Summer TV and subscribe.
Oh yeah. Until next Tuesday, we love you. Come to the block party, but don't bring your coolers. That's what I'm saying.